if I am not mistaken.
Yeah.
We gotta wait for the introduction. Can't spoil it.
Oh my god, I just added everyone.
There we go.
Gotta be real nice.
Should we move this?
Audience
should we
is
also move
growing.
this tab real quick, so it's at the top and people can see it.
Oh yeah, because it's all at the bottom now.
Yeah, because we stuffed it at the bottom because we ain't used it. I'll move it.
Oh yeah, I guess that would be a good idea. Hi everyone, welcome.
Give me a minute.
Welcome to the Chicory Dev QA and Art stream. Yay! This is for the
Do we announce that it's moving?
I mean, I'm doing a little intro. You can keep doing your stuff that you're doing. Don't worry about it. You totally ruined my flow, Greg. Oh my gosh.
Sorry. Alex, can you...
Welcome, everyone. This is the Chicory Dev QA and Art stream for the 3rd anniversary of Chicory. Can you believe it's been 3 years? It's crazy. We have Lena Rain, Greg, I don't know how to say your last name, and Alexis.
Greg Labana?
Labana. Here with us.
Labana.
We also have Adam from Finji. We have our Finji rep too, because Finji helped publish this great game. If everyone wanted to give a little intro of their own kind of role, that would be cool too. Oh, we also have Quant and Robin and myself, who are moderators of the server, who know us, who love us.
Yay!
Hopefully.
Moderators, we're gonna be the one feeding everyone the questions.
Yeah. So, I'm gonna let Lena speak first because Lena's cool, and Greg and Alexis still seem busy.
Am I really? Hi, I'm Lena. I did the music for Chicory, and I'm also doing the music for Beastie Ball and painting, art. Sorry, sidetracking. This is Chicory. Art.
Adam, if you wanted to just say what you do in Finji, that'd be nice.
Yeah,
We are getting Discord notifications from non-public messages, just FYI.
I'm Adam Saltzman. I'm a game designer and programmer and producer. I co-founded Finji, and we got to publish Chicory. We were really big fans of Wandersong and really big fans of Chicory as it was coming together. And the game design nerd part of it that attracts me the most about most of Greg's games is they're big, full adventures, but you murder almost no one during those adventures. So they stand with Celeste as I think really special achievements in game design, and it was a big honor to work on.
I can't look at it. So,
are there actually murders?
Aren't we? Oh, you.
It could be. We could make that lore right now.
You do solve a murder, potentially.
Potential murder.
Do I want to unmute music, or is that something else?
What? That's something else, Alexis. Why don't you mute us for a second? Sorry, we're still setting up. I tried to log into a second iPad so that we could see the call while we were on it, but then it's gotten just making everything more problematic.
That's okay. I can answer questions from chat. You know Celeste? Yes, we're personal friends.
You're friends with the mountain?
Yes.
Can you mute us?
Let's go on the phone. You're friends with the old woman specifically.
We get on a group chat, every weekend.
Yeah, pen pals.
Yeah.
No, Greg stopped his camera on purpose because they're still doing some tech stuff. You are.
Can I wave dash? I don't think so. I can't even wave dash in Celeste, let alone real life.
But can you double jump?
Yes, I can do that.
All trans people double jump.
It's true. They don't tell you this.
They?
They. The committee.
It's the they, and you know what they say.
Wall bouncing is an advanced skill.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta get a few more upgrades.
I'm going to just ping everyone.
Did you voice act Madeline? No, that was a synthesized voice.
To the Celeste pre-show to the Chicory show.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just
She's the opening.
chat's
man.
happening.
Chat's happening. Yeah. We're still pretty chill. We have compiled some of the questions and prompts people have sent in, and we'll
Excellent.
feed them to the crew as they progress.
Yeah, we got a
Probably
lot
just-
of really cool prompts here. So
Mm-hmm.
We can probably ask Lena a question because Lena's all already, and I know there was questions.
Yeah, there's some music questions. Go for it.
Yep. Lena and Adam here, and we are balancing the universe. Lena, do you have a favorite Pokemon from Ray?
Yes. Yes,
Ray with what?
Umbreon. Umbreon is my favorite Pokemon.
Hell yeah, that's a good guy.
Yeah. They're just really cool. I like Eevees in general, but like because of just like how diverse they can evolve into various forms, but I like Umbreon the best.
Yeah,
Umbreon's cool.
it's a good design.
Yeah.
It's a good dog. Ami's trying to think of a question related to the Turnabout Squeeze soundtrack. Do you have any interesting facts about it to share?
I like Ace Attorney, apparently. That was kind of my main inspiration for writing that. There's some references, but the fun thing I think that I got to do was basically recreate some of the iconic sound effects, like just with barely very little reference to it, just like from my memory. I was just like, there's that one sound that happens when like they get an idea, right? And I was just like, I was like, oh yeah, I can totally do that. I just kind of like made it from memory. Anyways, I love the soundtracks in those games, so it was fun to do an homage.
Lunar asks, what was the most complicated track you've made?
Complicated. Well, in Chicory, definitely the final battle. Are we like full spoiling everything in this Q&A?
I think 3 years after the game came out, it's pretty safe. It's pretty allowed.
It did come out 3 years ago. I think the allotted time.
We're
is-
assuming that everybody's a fan here, so
Yeah, no, the final.
You know how it ended.
Yeah, like Greg can attest. The final
People came in
boss
on a
track
skateboard.
in Chicory is entirely too many layers for Game Maker to handle. I mean, it's not too many, but it's just like it was just a lot to like do dynamic implementation on. So many different like loops and layers and like intros and stuff in that boss track.
That's cool. All right, now that it's all
It's
set
cool.
up, do we want to officially begin with some
Yes.
fun little doodles?
Yes.
Yay!
Yeah,
All
let's
right.
doodle.
Greg and Alexis, I think you should also say a fun, happy little intro because you were just
Yeah, say hello.
on screen and just doing things we're not related.
Hi. I'm Greg. So I was the director, designer, writer for the game, programmer stuff. Yeah, for Chicory.
I'm Alexis. I designed and animated all the characters for Chicory. And
That about covers it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna see if I can move this to like if this makes like just a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if that. Oh yeah.
you can just like
Oh yeah. Oh, that's
wait, you can rotate the whole.
yeah.
There we go.
Okay. Great.
In frame.
Yeah. Yeah, we have the stream like here. So when I'm looking here, it's because I'm actually looking at you, and when I'm looking at here, I can't see you at all. I'm just being polite.
Such is the paradox of technology.
Yeah.
I think
All right,
Um,
shall we start off the prompts?
Yeah, we should give Alexis something to draw.
I think to start with, there was someone who requested pancake, which I think is very appropriate for Alexis to draw
Oh yeah.
because that's literally Alexis.
Yeah, pancake.
yeah.
Should I
Those in
should I
chat who
try
don't
and
know, yeah, Alexis's dev Sona in Chicory is pancake, who likes bugs.
I think you're allowed to put a reference up, but you should try to put reference like on the canvas so you can draw with the reference like.
Sure. I
So,
folded
yeah.
this is the folder that we gave to all the translators
Yeah, so before when localizers were working on the game, about half the animations weren't done yet when people started on it. So what we did is we collected all the art for characters that were in the game and put them in this folder, so that if someone like basically when they were translating names, they could look up like what the character looked like as reference. So some of these are like final designs, but some of these you can also see there's like sketches and stuff because Alexis is still working on it. So this is kind of a snapshot of like where the game was in October or November when we started onboarding localizers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do this.
Yeah. Does that work? Oh yeah, that's fun. Yeah. But yeah. So I think we ended up adding maybe like one or two other characters after this point. But yeah, this is kind of like the whole cast is here. And yeah, there's some like Omelette or no, Omelette is in the game. Someone changed names or something. Yeah, there's some stuff here that's like in the beta. Yeah. Anyway, okay, Pancake.
Pancake, is there any tell me about how you guys picked your dev insert designs? I don't think anyone asked this, but I was curious.
I know that Alexis had the hardest time picking an animal. Everyone had like an answer like right away. Alexis switched between like 3 different animals.
Go back and forth between like a fruit bat, a hyena, and just like a dog. And then the one that I was on when Greg was like, we have to put something in the game. That was the one that ended up being.
Yeah. I actually don't know what my favorite animal is, but I picked dogs because everyone likes. I mean, it's like definitely an agreeable, good animal. When we made this game, we didn't have a dog, and then we got one like right while we were finishing it. So I learned a lot. Yeah. You know, one thing I think we would have done differently if I'd had a dog while I was working on the game is I probably would have had like a digging mechanic.
Aww.
If I had like known more about dogs.
Greg didn't know that dogs like to dig.
I honestly didn't. But yeah, as soon as we got one, it's like, oh wow, that's such a fun like Zelda-ish thing that a dog can do.
You would have had a whole dig mechanic.
Yeah, maybe in Chicory too.
Maybe in Chicory too.
Maybe.
Yeah, but that's really neat.
I'm not sure why Pancake's looking so concerned.
Aww.
It's their first time doing an art stream. They're nervous. I know it's not your first time, but it's Pancake's first time.
Yeah. I haven't done that many, to be honest. Like I was thinking about this earlier, and I remember doing one other Chicory one, where people were just like giving prompts for animals.
Yeah, I don't remember this happening at all.
I remembered that one because I actually requested a prompt.
Really?
I requested a maned wolf, and you did that one for me.
That's a good app.
No recollection of this happening at all. Completely gone from memory.
Uh-huh.
That happens.
Your brain is too full of beastie ball. I have a.
Oh, here's a.
Oh, sorry. I was going to ask a question, but I will let you finish, Robin.
I was going to forward a question from chat.
Okay.
Kez asks, a lot of Alexis's website features includes character designs from Chicory, and they're wondering if they were drawn before or after Chicory as the concept was conceived.
Kind of at the same time as I like. You're talking about like the illustrations?
You're talking about the paintings on your website.
Yeah, they were kind of drawn at like the same time that I was like coming up with the character style for Chicory. I think that was when I was still working at Slap Happy.
And I think it was right after you left Slap Happy. So yeah, Alexis was working her animation job.
No, it was in between working on Tom and Jerry and working on The Hollow.
Okay.
It was right before I started my first ever like actual storyboard revision job. And I know because I wrote about it in the hourly comics that I made that year. Mm-hmm. That's the only way I remember.
So yeah, we were working on the game. I think we had designed a couple characters for it, and then Alexis had this opportunity to do an art showcase at like a local restaurant because they just would put up like a new like artist gallery every month, which she got in, which is cool. But she hadn't actually painted anything in like 5 years, and so she made all those paintings in like the span of like a month or something for that gallery, and it kind of was like partly like an exercise because like getting back used to painting and character design stuff because her day job hadn't really been flexing those muscles.
I'd been flexing some muscles. I'd been learning how to draw Tom and Jerry in like the old Tom and Jerry style, which was a very interesting thing to do because it's such a weird style. It's such a like, it's just weird. It's just like a lot of like very specific, like, what's the word? I don't know, just like a lot of very specific stylistic things that did not come naturally. So it was really interesting, and it was interesting also to see how my style changed after working on Tom and Jerry.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah. Like weird little things, like drawing bigger noses and like
Bigger is better when it comes to noses. We
big
all know.
eyes.
We all knows.
Yeah,
I agree.
Wonderful.
If you want to give me something else to draw, otherwise I'll just keep drawing Pancake.
Yeah. So we should just like keep her on her toes. Like don't let her get comfortable at all.
So
Absolutely.
one of our top requested, as in the number of reactions that people had when somebody suggested this prompt, is Queen Drosera.
I was just going to say Queen Drosera, big favorite.
Draw the most complicated character in the game.
Yeah, you should pick out one. You should pick out one very popular thing to save for last too.
Okay,
If there's
you want
more
to
than one.
save her for later?
No. We can do Drosser now, but as long if there's another one that you want to save.
I don't think there's an easy way for me to get a reference.
I know which one I want to save. I'm gonna DM you guys.
Okay.
I can try and do Drosera from memory, but it's not gonna look like her.
Oh, yeah, I think that might also help. How exactly is it pronounced?
Drosera is how we pronounce it.
Drosera, okay. That was me.
Yeah, it sounds regal and big.
Yeah, because in the Portuguese localization, we put the accent mark on the O, so it's Drosera.
Drosera. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's very Portuguese.
I have a question from the QA prompt channel from Chevro. How much did everyone contribute to the narrative of Chicory? Was it largely Greg, or did everyone have input?
I feel like I like anything that ended up in the game was kind of started by me. Like it would be like an idea that I had, like a scene that I kind of put together, or a pitch that I had for stuff. But then usually like people on the team were pretty active at like playtesting the game and giving feedback on it. And when we hit like certain junctures in the story or we're kind of rethinking big chunks of it, I would usually like just go to Slack and lay out all my thoughts in like giant novel form. Like, well, here's what I think the ending should change and it should be like this. And, what does everyone think about that, or whatever type of stuff, or just if I have a question about a particular part. I don't really have, I can't recollect like, I'm thinking more about Beastie Ball things right now.
We would definitely like talk about it a lot.
Yeah, with Chicory, I actually think that Alexis and I talked about the story a lot, and like even like more so than we are on Beastie Ball. Even like with Chicory, like Alexis was really involved with planning a lot of a lot of character stuff. And partly because Chicory was a really like emotionally complex game where there were a lot of ways that the game could have been done bad or wrong, and so like. With a lot of, like just Chicory, the character, right? Like she is so messy, and there were, so like just with everything, everything that came to writing her character, like we were checking in with friends and with each other and just kind of talking through everything and reading the scenes together and editing and deleting and rewriting, like just trying to make sure that our intention was coming through clearly. Because that was a tough one. I would say like everyone had like a part and a voice in it, and like, I didn't want to put anything in the game unless I felt like everyone on the team, like felt cool about it and felt like it represented them authentically. Because I think, all of us put a lot of ourselves into this project and saw ourselves in different aspects of it. So I didn't want to put anything in the game that didn't feel like, that everyone didn't feel like cool with, basically.
Yeah, I like speaking from my perspective, like I definitely remember some of the times, Greg, when you dropped like just a sort of a call for feedback on one change or another, just kind of like going through and just like updating scenes to make sure that they like felt right. And I felt like included in that, and that was really fun to just kind of be a part of that process, since, working on the emotional side of the narrative with the music and everything. Like it was very important to make sure that we were in lockstep for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, there's a couple of there's a couple of conversations specifically, like conversations that Pizza had with Chicory that I remember, like one in particular.
Oh, there's like 4 lines of dialogue that Alexis actually like wrote. That she actually just like, so there's one scene in the game where they're talking on the mountain, and I had a version of it, and like Alexis really didn't like it. And she was like, I just like I know that I'm not the writer, but like let me just, and then just like went into Notepad and just like wrote a version of it. And I was like, okay, you know what? Yeah, okay. And so we went with that, and I ended up changing, like, you know, it was like, took the vibe, changed out a bunch of stuff, but I think there are a few lines in it that were like literally word for word, like she wrote them. I think that might be the only example though, because most other stuff in the game, like, I was writing it like in Game Maker, like in, like, you know, like as code basically. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like most people were interfacing with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I know that Lena answered this a little bit ago with like the hardest track in the game. What was the hardest part of the development, like art-wise, coding-wise, etc.? I feel like you might have mentioned this at some point, but I'm asking again.
Hardest part. Hardest part code-wise. I'm gonna discount console porting, because that sucked. But I don't think it's like that's like always hard. I feel like one of the crazier things, I mean, I'm thinking about the freaking like screen recording stuff. I mean, there's a lot of things in this game that were pretty technically like, there's a broad, like technically speaking, just a broad category. Like this game does a lot of saving. It saves a lot of things you do at a lot of times, and that was problematic on console platforms for one thing, like just for certification reasons, but also we just had so many issues related to that because the game is constantly processing like so much stuff in the background. And so like as we start optimizing, and you know, once you start optimizing and you're trying to like cut corners wherever you can to make it run faster or use less memory, like we start introducing all kinds of weird bugs, like, and you know, the way it would look to a player would just be like, oh, I've been playing the game for 6 hours and the game just randomly crashed when I was doing something, you know, that I've done 100 times. And the real reason would just be like random garbage collected in the background from, sometimes I wonder, like, did I really have to record everything you did in the entire game for that one little thing at the end in the credits? Like, it's pretty cool, but man, it really, really made a nightmare for us technically to do. So, yeah, I think I have to call that out on the technical side. Yeah.
It's a lot of bang, but it was also a lot of bug.
I want to hear the art answer.
I mean, I think the hardest part for me was just like getting things done. For being honest,
like just finishing animation or finishing
just finishing things, because it's like it's like the biggest thing I've been a part of that like most of the projects that I worked on in the past were very work. They weren't things that I was very, very deeply personally invested in. And it's a lot easier with those sort of things to go like, okay, I did it, it's done, they're happy with it.
Right, check it off the list.
It's fine, that's done, next thing. But with this, with Chicory, I was very, very invested in every tiny piece of it. It's very hard to talk and draw at the same time.
No worries. I actually wanted to ask Adam, in your part in publishing Chicory, would you say there was the hardest part, or did you, stupid to ask, did you have it pretty easy comparatively?
My answer is probably same as Greg's answer. But it's also like, it's a funny thing, I think, because like, it's obviously being able to paint everything is the whole point of the game. And it's one of those things where every once in a while, like when you're at the start of a new game idea, you think to yourself like, this is crazy. How come nobody's made a game like this before? This is such a cool idea. And then like later in the project, you go, that's why nobody did this before. This is actually super complicated to do. But it's the whole thing of it. So I think it's just one of those things where, and it's funny to me because the games, the thing that I think shows that we eventually were able to do it right is I don't think anybody plays Chicory and thinks like, wow, there's so much going on technically under the hood in this game to make this experience possible, because like that we don't put that on the player or make that a problem for them. Like they see characters and these unique activities you don't get to do in other games. But yeah, there was a little bit of blood and sweat just to make sure that all the stuff that people were making while they were playing was there. I would say everything else was like just even when it was work, it was really fun, good work to do. This is like a really, really easy game to like evangelize and try to convince people to like spend time with and to appreciate. And I remember from marketing and PR side, folks making sure that like, you know, people in the Washington Post were playing. Like there's things that are tricky. Like it can be hard to go to like total strangers and be like, you gotta check out this game, it's really, really special. And they're like, yeah. And you're like, yeah, it doesn't even have colors in it. It's totally 2D. And you play as a dog who doesn't have their job anymore. And but like the reaction to the game, like people get the characters so quickly. Like the arc for the characters is so good, but the intro for the characters is so strong that I think even though maybe like they're used to playing a game that has colors at first or something, like people totally are there and going along with it and getting it. So yeah, I would say the vast majority of what we're doing was like it just doesn't take a lot of convincing. Like you just have to get people to be about 3 minutes in the world, and they'll already have either like figured out that that you can roll the credits at about 4 minutes into the game if you make certain text choices, or like they'll have found something like really like personal and funny to them that's different from other games. So anytime we have a project like that, I'd say overall our job is essentially easy, and it's really just a matter of like how many people can we get it in front of, and how do we make sure that that it sort of like meets their expectations. And in this case, that meant console sim launching with localization in 100,000 languages, but I know, I mean, I feel like it still mostly speaks for itself. I think like it's such a beautiful, funny thing that still doesn't really have like, people didn't start suddenly making more of this kind of thing in the last few years. Like it still really stands out to me.
These Drossers are extremely cute, by the way.
Yes.
I found a reference.
Excuse me.
I didn't find a reference for the rest of her body, so I'm kind of just like making all of that up. I remember that she's got like body shapes like this because that's the shape that I had to draw to like construct her. She's just like the reason that I couldn't find reference for her in our files is because her stuff is just like a head and then like
she's a bunch of bones that move around with code.
This, like this and this.
I guess it's like the one character I can say.
Yeah, it took a lot of convincing because I had like a really specific idea about how she should move, and so Greg had to like make a bunch of tests to convince me that he could do it with code. But
it's so much better with code because it makes it really unsettling. Like everything else moves with like beautiful hand drawn, crafted, and she's just like weird video game bone skeleton, and you just like feel how weird she is, and it's like it had to be that way. Yeah.
She's so cool. By the way, thank you, Adam, for that lovely insight on Chicory, because I know we all like Chicory, so I thought it was nice. Also, speaking of Drosera, Trixie asks, what kind of bug is Drosera?
Drosera, and like most of the bugs in the like some of the bugs had like a vague kind of bug inspiration, but a lot of them were kind of just like looking at a lot of different bugs and like pulling a bunch of different bug shapes. So I was definitely looking at centipedes and millipedes for Drosera, but nothing really in particular. They're all bug shapes, but they're all kind of like they're specific bug.
It's interesting because they all have such specific details on them. like the arrangement of her eyes and that mouth, and it's just I don't know how you do that.
On that
I did.
note,
Sorry.
on that note, I would like to ask, what inspired Grub and Grub Deep in general, having this little underground society of bugs?
That was 100% because Madeline was working on the game. Madeline was like our roommate when we started the game. They're like a zine artist, and they did all the environment art. So like the wiggly trees and grass and stuff.
They do all the environments you color.
Yes, that you get to color in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I brought them on because like the way they draw zines and comics, that's what our game looks like. Like it's Madeline's art style. And so when we brought them on, like we were kind of in early stages planning stuff, I was like, okay, Madeline, like I'm just giving you a bunch of environments to do. Can you, like, if you could draw any environment, like pitch to me, right? Like what's the one environment that you want to draw? Like what's like what? And they were like, I want to do a cool swamp and like an underground like bug world, a world full of bugs or something. And I was like, we're gonna make it happen. Like we had no other plan. We didn't know like story or anything. We were just like, okay, underground bug world will be in the game somewhere. And that was just like a checklist item for the whole project. Is like, when's the underground bug world gonna happen? Where does that fit in? And yeah, once we knew we were gonna do it, we just life found a way. Everyone was into it. It's like it's obviously such a good idea, it's such a good fit. And once we figured out like how it was going to fit into the story, it was like it just added so much flavor to the world. And I promise I would never have gotten there unless Madeline asked us to do it. Because it just was not like in my initial like image board for what I had in my head for this game. Did not include massive bug city, but yeah.
That's the joy of collaboration. You get people bringing in their own ideas, and it fits so perfectly. You're wondering, how is it not there from the start?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
If I may ask Alexis for...
Yeah.
I know this was... I don't know if this is, like, allowed, but I know people want to know what prunus looks like up close, rather than a little nothing. Like...
Can we get a zoom in?
Okay, we should zoom in really, really, really close, and you should draw like a single like black pixel.
We haven't gotten around to it. Very early in the server, I envisioned a Prunus emote that was just a single black dot dancing around.
Oh yeah, that would have been so funny. But
I mean,
if you
I have kind of a picture in my head.
Oh my god, it's Prunus.
No way.
No way.
In flesh.
Audience, you better be cheering and clapping right now.
Oh, let's go.
This is like
That's the response we want to see. Oh my god, here's Baba all along.
this is like magnified like 3,000 times, and they're still really small. I think he should have like a little tie.
Yeah.
Definitely. He has to meet the wielder for the first time. It's very special.
He's a professional, yeah.
He went to Bug
Russian's not meant to draw single pixels. That's a tie.
Oh, is it? Yeah, it looks kind of like a big mouth too. It looks like he's got like a nose, and then he's like,
Eye is too big for him.
Well, while Alexis commits crimes, Lena, there was a question from Frog of your favorite track that you composed for Chicory.
My favorite track. Oh goodness. I think it changes constantly. I just recently had to like go back and listen through to the soundtrack because I was preparing a little live show that I did here in Vancouver. I was like, I need to pick one track from Chicory to play. And I ended up choosing Abandoned Me, which is a very emotional track. And it's like I front-loaded the concert with emotions, but it was a fun one to play live. And I really like that, and especially how it like combines with the boss fight and the animated paint and everything for that. Like, there's a lot of tracks that I enjoy a lot. Like, goodness. Like Banquet Rainforest, I think, is also just a really pretty one that I got to write. I was listening through, and I got to that track, and I was like, oh wow, yeah, I remember I really enjoyed this one. There's like just a lot of like really amazing like live, string players on it and woodwinds and everything. Like it's just, I forgot how many live instruments I got to record for Chicory. So like every time I go back to it, I'm just kind of like surprised. I'm just like, oh wow, yeah. Especially since I'm working on Beastie Ball right now, which is all just a bunch of like Super Nintendo and N64 synths and stuff. And I go back to Chicory, I'm just like, oh, the majesty of live players. Which isn't to say either of them are like, better or worse. It's just, different sound palettes, different instruments. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really interesting decision to go for that. Like, it was Lena's idea 100% to have a live music in it. And it's such a cool fit for the game in a way I didn't anticipate. I didn't think about it until you proposed it. But, yeah. It
was really funny, like making that decision, and then like literally like I think immediately after we started recording music for it, like the remake of Link's Awakening got announced, and it had like all these woodwinds in it, and I was just like, you bastards, you copied me.
They sensed a disturbance in the Zelda like.
Like, you can't do the same thing I'm doing.
But yeah, see, I mean, it's funny because I think the flavor. I mean, I think Chicory's flavor is really different, and I think
totally.
If it had been up to me, like if I was directing the sound, it probably would have sounded almost exactly like Link's Awakening, because like that sort of toy like silly vibe is like what's in my brain all the time. Yeah. But you added like such a like complex character to it. I don't know. It has way more of like an emotional, like authentic feeling to it. So yeah, I think it's really great. Yeah.
Yeah. Someone in chat was mentioning the Tunic OST as like a completely different take on like a Zelda-like soundtrack, and it's like I love how many varied versions of like how to approach writing music for these sorts of game structures there are. It's really cool. Shout outs to Lifeformed and Janice Kwan.
Real quick, Alexis, for the end of Pride Month, can you draw pepper and beans? I'm sure I saw it specifically from Kez, but I'm sure a lot of people would like to see them.
Yes, I had my eye on that one too, and I would also like to ask, let me grab this question while you get started there.
If you want to ask Alexis a question, maybe we should get her between drawings.
Okay. Well, is it more of a general question?
Okay.
Trixie asks, what is the name of Pepper's kid, the little skunk?
Oh, that's a good question. Actually, is it in here?
Wait, do we name them?
So, it probably isn't in here because it doesn't have any lines.
He definitely isn't in there with a name. I don't know his name.
I did have like a name in my head. Oh, no, we didn't give him a name.
Baby Skunk.
Baby Skunk.
There we are.
Yeah, I did name in mind for him at one point, but I don't remember what it was.
Paprika?
Huh?
No.
That would be very cute.
That's somebody else called? Yeah, I think someone else probably is. I don't remember the game well enough now. It's like, I'm
pretty sure we had that name somebody.
Yeah.
But,
oh, if they were corn. Oh, there's probably a corn too.
There is definitely a corn.
There's a possibility that I wrote it down in the flash file where I drew him. So I will go and look for that after the stream.
Yeah, we can't go digging through flash right now because
if somebody reminds me, the flash is going to be like, oh.
Funnily enough, yes, Trixie remembers Korn is the artist who made the horse painting, which is a good segue into what was the process on building the art classes and the paintings, themes, and redraw prompts.
I think that was all my stuff. I mean, I didn't do the art, but I kind of like picked out the artists and picked out the prompts and stuff. And yeah, I guess I just have like a little like
collected the artists over time a little bit. Like we asked some of our friends, and then like we met a couple of people at like at like a comics
conventions and stuff. Yeah,
and
yeah. We kind of had like a running list of just like artists that we liked. So some were friends and then some were randos. But I guess like for a lot of in a lot of cases, like the new art we had to do, there were a lot of restrictions on it because it's really hard to draw in the game. So like the art either had to be really simple in a way that was easy to recreate, or complicated in a way that was like so impossible to recreate that you knew that you didn't have to. But a lot of stuff kind of is like on that line where it's like it looks like you're supposed to try to do it. So yeah, for a lot of pieces, we actually ended up finding pieces that existed already and adapting them. Because I was like, oh, this is already almost perfectly like something that should go in the game, and I'm just gonna tweak it a little bit. In one case, like, we had our friend Trudy, who's an awesome artist, and we commissioned her to do a piece for the game for a painting. And then I was gonna put it in, but then like I think at the same time she like just on Twitter like tweeted like some other like doodle she did. And the doodle was actually like so stylistically perfect for the game. It was the second painting, which like it's like the cat, where like the background's colored in and the cat's like an erased like white circle in the middle.
Cookie, kitten cookie, kitten.
Yeah, so the one that she gave us, it was an awesome drawing. It was just like a line drawing of like a cool animal character, which I was like happy to put in. But then she tweeted out that like cat that was like erased out of the background. I was like, that's such a cool effect. That would be so fun to try and draw in the game. And I was like, I'm really sorry. I know we already commissioned you a piece. Can we just use this random doodle you posted on Twitter instead? And she's like, yeah, okay.
Just away.
Yeah. Yeah, all of them had fun. Yeah, there's one of the funnier ones I think that we got, the art director from Darkest Dungeon did one of the paintings for the game, and that was really funny to me because that's like about as opposite in tone and vibe as you can get from our game. But that's why I was really excited to commission. We know him, like he's in Vancouver, and I was like, what if, like haha, but what if you did a Chicory painting?
Unless.
Yeah, he cheated by not drawing. He put the character in armor, so he didn't actually have to draw like a cute anthro animal. That's how he got away with it. But I think it still added a really fun flavor to the game. Yeah. They were so fun to do. Yeah, it was like, yeah, honestly, all of the external artists, because we also worked with somebody who did like art for Radish. For Radish, right? Like Radish of the gallery in the game, we had like an artist do that, and it was like every time we have an opportunity like that, it's like oh my gosh, we should just like, it's like we had a list. We all love like different artists, so it was always like, oh my gosh, like we have an excuse, we can like go find this person and like get their art in the game somehow. And yeah, it was kind of that feeling.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
My wife did one.
Oh.
That's right. Lena's wife Erica did one. Erica did one of the early ones too, before we had figured out what the constraints were. So Erica just did like, we had to make one of the last levels because it was like a really like elaborate piece. It's a very good like final challenge type one. Yeah, it's like a really good piece too. Like even for the black and white, like it was such a I don't know. She nailed it.
Yeah.
Sorry, don't mind me laughing. I'm looking at chat trying to name the beans and pepper shit. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and ask Greg a lore question. Right, you wanted complex lore questions. Vicky had a bunch of questions. So one of them, do wielders have like telekinesis over the brush, or is that just a thing for gameplay purposes?
That is a good question. I think they do have telekinesis over the brush. I think that's how we always sort of drew them.
Because otherwise they'd be kind of limited into like what they can physically reach as to what they can paint.
Yeah,
which seems like it would come up.
So yeah, I think the game is actually meant to be authentic in how they operate with it, more or less.
Does that also apply to Pizza's broom?
This is secretly about psychic animals the whole time. Like they all have psychic powers. The brush is just where they need to use it.
I think with the broom, it's Pizza's actually running around the room, but they're like
but they're imagining
the flash stepping.
Yeah.
Oh, because they've always wanted to be a wielder. That makes so much sense, though. This is like
exactly. Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
The game writes itself.
The question is resolved. Yeah.
It's literally that easy. That reminds me, there was another question we got from Pika Expert. Did Pizza enjoy their time working as a janitor before becoming a wielder? What was their sort of life trajectory there?
I think Pizza liked their job for sure.
Yeah, I think Pizza is like, I don't know. I feel like Pizza is the kind of person who can just like knuckle down and get really good at something. And
yeah, I think they were just kind of thinking more about what's the next thing to do, like what does someone need from me, and like they were happy to do a job that they felt like was contributing to somebody without necessarily like I don't know. I don't know that they were trying to get anything like big or personal out of it, right? It was just like they're happy to have a job and to be doing something that helps someone, especially when it's like someone that they really look up to.
It's nice.
That makes sense for pizza.
Yeah.
And
Here's more...
another.
Oh no, you can go, Robin.
I got for you, Sbricha. Apologies, I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Where did you get the ideas for what the wielder trials should be?
They were pretty made up.
In terms of like mechanically or like story.
I would say mechanically because they're all very different mechanics.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I kind of set myself up like we were kind of doing the game from beginning to end in order. We didn't do anything out of order, and I think we got to that part in the story, and there was just kind of a feeling of like, man, it was like I really feel like the player should be able to do a bunch of dungeons, and they should just be like in any order. That was kind of like a feeling that I had without a plan, and I was like, okay, let's just say that's what we're doing. And I wrote all these scenes that were like establishing that was going to be the case, and then put myself into a corner. I was like, okay, well now I got to come up with 4 different things to do. I think it was pretty much like I would like open up the level editor in the areas and then just sort of jam out on basically trying to make it up. And when we very first started the game, I had a couple notebook pages where I drew up, I kind of storyboarded like game mechanic ideas, which is usually what I do. Like I did this Wander song as well. Just kind of like, oh, it'd be fun if like, oh, you paint this thing and something happens, or oh, there could be like dots and if you draw a certain shape, like it unlocks a door somewhere or whatever, right? So
there are natural puzzles that come with that sort of design in general.
Yeah. So I was just sort of like, in that stage, I was sort of feeling out what all the range would be. And by the time we got to that far in the game, I think I'd actually worked through most of them. Like either I'd put them in or realized they were bad. And so there were only a couple left. Like there were a couple of there are a couple ideas on there that I like use as jumping off points to make stuff for the trials, but then ended up having to adapt most of them. Like some one example, like there was one idea I had on that page that was like, oh, it would be fun if there were like just kind of like foggy clouds of paint, and you can jump in them and you can swim anywhere, and it's like elevated and stuff. It's like another layer of paint that you're flying through, and that wasn't in the game, and testing that didn't work at all. But that kind of ended up becoming like the clouds you jump into on the mountain area, because I was like, oh, I guess what's fun is that you jump into something that's floating and then you can move to other aerial locations. So we kind of like simplified to that. There was another one that was like, oh, it'd be fun if there was like a plane of like just like, I don't know, grass, and anywhere you draw becomes like a raised path. So there's like the mushrooms where you paint them and they turn on and off. And I was like, oh, would it be fun if like you could draw geometry out of paint that you walk on? And then it was like, that's a fun idea. And then what's a puzzle with that? And it was like, don't know. So it didn't work out. That kind of ended up becoming like, there's like in the canyon there's like this black sludge like areas that you can't walk on. When you paint, it makes like a walkable area. But in those ones, like it eats it back up, and there's not even a puzzle with that. It's literally like a couple screens where it just sort of gets in your way, and then you get past it, and that's where it came from. I mean, that was like, yeah. But then some stuff like and my favorite of the trials probably was the island where it has like the maze things that you complete by moving blocks around. And that was not drawn up anywhere. I could not have thought of that like ahead of time. It was literally like I got to the screens and I just started like throwing random like props on the screen, just like, you know, screaming into a pillow, being like, "What do I do? What's a puzzle for this?" And I landed on that idea like kind of after trying a couple things basically. But yeah, it ended up being one of the better ones. So the like mazes that you complete by like moving blocks around. But I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. But, yeah. It's weird because like
blocks.
Yeah, a lot of
the spoons trial puzzle is my favorite.
There's a lot of ideas in the game. Like most I would kind of categorize as like, you know, when I say painting adventure game, there's like an implicit promise to that. There's like certain like aspects of that fantasy that sound cool, and a lot of ideas in the game were sort of started from that. Like, wouldn't it be cool if when you draw like a creature eats the paint and follows the path? Wouldn't it be cool if like you could like draw symbols to unlock doors, right? It's like that's like stuff that makes sense. And the maze thing was like is not in that category at all. It's like a super designy, technical-y thing that's like, when you know how the rules in the game work, it's like fun. It's like a weird consequence of different things interacting, but it's definitely not like, you know, oh, like I like drawing, and my favorite thing about drawing is how when you draw dots, it moves blocks around, and when the blocks move around, they like complete a picture somewhere else. Like that's not, you know what I mean? So I don't think I could have thought of that in advance, but it worked because it was like so deep in the game's like design language. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very
Yeah.
much. Speaking of the trials, and particularly Blackberry, some people wondered, myself included, what happens with Blackberry and Chicory after the story ends? You think they resolve, or are we keeping that vague?
I definitely don't think they're ever going to be friends again. I'll say. I mean, that's how I feel about it. But
I think like probably Blackberry would make some very awkward attempts at like
How do you do,
like,
fellow wielders?
apologizing or like trying to kind of. I feel like she's like kind of starting to process like that maybe she has like done something wrong and is trying to figure out like if she can address that and how to maybe address that, but I'm not sure.
I don't think it's going to happen because I don't think Chicory's ever going to give her an opening. Like, I don't think Chicory's like living her life in a way that she's like trying to like make amends with Blackberry.
I don't know.
That's how I feel about it. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we didn't know for sure. That's why we left it open ended, because it's like,
Yeah,
you know, they're gonna live for a long time. A lot of things can
yeah,
happen.
things can happen. It could go any number of ways, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I think Blackberry is very interesting. Kez in chat is also wondering if there's anything about Blackberry you wanted to include in the story, but didn't really have space for.
I was going to expand that for anything in the game, because I know there are people who wondered if there was anything
That's
that you wanted to include in the game that didn't really like, that there wasn't a chance to put it, or that maybe just didn't make the cut.
I mean, if you want, like, if we could probably spend all day thinking of things we didn't put in the game. But yeah, like about Blackberry specifically,
I feel like Blackberry is one of the ones that I like had a lot of very, very specific ideas for.
Yeah.
And a lot of them just didn't go into the game because you rightly said that there was just like not enough not enough time and space to give.
Yeah, we talked a lot about just like what was the relationship like before wielding, and like there are a lot of different like even saying wanting is like probably putting, like, it's not like, oh, we want to put this in there somewhere to fit it. Like some things are just ideas we had that were like, you know, oh, maybe something like this happened, but yeah, like it's tough because, yeah, Blackberry's not really like, you see everything through Pizza's perspective, and Pizza's kind of like the least deserving to know really what happened there. So you really only get to see the parts that were relevant to Pizza. And like, you know, and I say that like we had ideas about that stuff, but you know, because it's not in the game, I would say that none of it, like, it's not like, oh, like there's true canon events that you don't know about. It's like, because it's not in the game, I don't want to say that stuff is real, because now that, you know, like people have their hands in the game and like they can interpret the story the way it makes sense to them. So I wouldn't want to say like it was definitely one way or another way. But yeah, with Blackberry, yeah, I mean, you can feel, right, there's a lot of history there, and you're only really seeing like little slices of it. So yeah, like, we thought a lot about a lot of it. Yeah, that's yeah.
A lot of meat we can explore. Yes, go ahead.
If I can ask another deep lore question, Tony and Figgy had questions about the brush wars that were mentioned in the game, if they were meant to be like a bigger part of the lore. Oh no, I see your face. Or if it was just like, you know, well, what was up with that? What's up with the brush wars? How long ago was that?
How long ago? I guess we said it was before the first wielder, right? So it would have.
No, it was like a war for the brush. Like somebody had the first brush and everybody was like, "Whoa, that's really cool."
Oh, sorry, yeah, not before them, but I mean like before, like when you're. I see, yeah, no, yeah, and I was thinking like the hierarchy, like the little animation of like the final boss goes through, showing you all the wielders and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, some hundreds of years. Yeah, like it feels to me like the Crusades in real life. It's like it's about that far long ago, and about that like sort of like legendary and scale and historical distance, if that makes sense.
Long enough ago that like what actually happened is difficult to say, because like some people wrote the history and the people who wrote the history are the people who like probably like ended up with the brush and made all the rules about the brush, so they probably like wrote the history in a way that benefited them and like the ideas that they had about the world and the thoughts that they wanted people to have about the brush and the rules that they wanted people to follow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. Here's a lighter question. What does the paint from the brush taste like?
I don't think it tastes like anything, or maybe
bugs like it. The bugs like
the
it.
bugs like it. And in times in the past when I've like imagined what the bugs are enjoying out of it, I don't know. It's more like a electricity or something, more like a sensation than like an actual flavor. But maybe for a bug it like translates to a flavor.
The blue is definitely blue flavored. That's blue flavored for sure, but the other stuff maybe not. I think Alexis is probably on the money though. It's probably like fake. It probably doesn't. If it tastes like anything specific, it would be weird, right?
Because like if you paint food, it's still gonna taste like the food that it is.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's true.
Very artificial and like obviously it doesn't just flavor with color. That's just necessary.
Actually, now you may think about it, yeah, because if you paint food, the food still tastes like food.
Yeah, and like it's not like the food
you can use it as seasoning.
bad when it's not painted.
No, it's not seasoning because like it shouldn't taste like anything, because that would be messed up. Like you go to a dessert shop and you like draw an entire dessert, like that can't taste like paint. It has to taste like the dessert that you drew, right?
The what
Oh my God,
dessert
this
are
is
you
like-
drawing?
It tastes like whatever the wielder wants it to taste like. That is just part of the wielder power.
That's messed up too, though. Like, how do they? You can make something that like tastes like farts, and then like feed it to someone. Like you draw like a cool banana, but then you like in your head you're like, but it actually tastes like farts, and then it tastes like farts when they eat it. Like, I don't think that should be a power they have. That seems like too much. We should start a brush wars about this.
That's the real reason it started, because they couldn't decide what things should taste like.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
maybe
just for
it's
real.
related to the, because you get asked what your favorite food is, and I know that's your name, but like maybe like your name is your power.
You know, pizza's paint tastes like pizza.
Yeah, you have a dessert that's like pizza.
That's more messed up than anything previously suggested.
I think we need to leave this rabbit hole now. Does anyone have another question?
Before something becomes canon.
Before Greg gets a crisis.
Robin, you should ask a question.
Sure. Give me a second here.
That's funny.
And a very sweet one from Zinbells, who says, as a preschool teacher in Australia, my students love my pizza shirt and plush. I told them the story in a kid-friendly way and that pizza lives in a coloring book. They've requested a Chicory coloring and activity book. Are you interested in that creating that someday?
We sure thought about that. I think we're always thinking about everything. Yeah, I think it's when it comes to merge questions, like there's just like it's always like that sounds really fun, and then there's a lot of really boring real answer that's like, well, but we have to find somebody to work with, and we got to like produce enough product to make money from the product that we print, and like how big is the audience? And the game came out 3 years ago,
or even just to like convince it's gonna print it to like we either have to like pay a lot of money up front to get a bunch of stuff printed and then like handle things ourselves, or like convince somebody that it's gonna be good enough for them to like to print it and handle distribution and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so we're not exactly like a big media property the size of like a Pokemon, for example, where you can just like arbitrarily make a product in any type and then just like assume that someone somewhere is going to buy it. But it's like everything's like yes in theory, like actually that sounds really cool, and a comic book I think made a lot of sense.
Yeah,
I think it was one of those like things we probably almost did, and then it just didn't quite make sense. But we have like, I wouldn't say it's never gonna happen. That's probably on like the higher percentage likelihood things if we can ever figure out. Yeah.
So what you mean is it's 60% canon.
Yeah. Comic book is 60% canon.
Like 70.
70% canon. 75. 74.
Before someone else asks a question, Alexis, I forgot who asked specifically, but can you draw Chicory having a relaxing day somewhere?
Yeah.
Get her a vacation, please.
I sure can try.
I think she deserves it.
You can try, like, 'cause you don't know, like, what Chicory looks like relaxing.
I drew Chicory is relaxing at PAX last year, I think.
Let's give us another one.
Yeah. Like staring into space.
Yeah, another one.
Why? That's relaxing? The first 3 lines are so not relaxed.
She's trying really hard to relax.
Oh no, she's not capable of doing it.
She hasn't done it in years. Oh no!
She's concentrating really hard on relaxing.
So, yeah. give us a question. Alexis will try to figure this out.
Yeah.
Related to Queen Dracera and the Residence of Feast, I forgot who asked this question too, I apologize. She mentioned something about the pact with the wielders. Can we get more information behind that?
Oh man. The Bug Kingdom has a pact with the wielders. An ancient pact, that the wielders have to help them out. More information about that. It's a pretty old one. I think probably Dracera might sort of remember the details of it, but nobody living does, for sure. It's just one of those things, you know? Huh?
Dracera's living?
Yeah, I mean, other than her. I mean, like wielders, like on the surface side. Yeah, like... Yeah, I mean, most people surface side don't even know there's a Bug Kingdom under them, so... Yeah. I feel like there's like fun ways I can imagine it going, but the real answer is that we didn't decide for sure one way or the other about some of that stuff. Which is, I feel like, fans ask us questions sometimes in a way where I feel like I have a different expectation sometimes for how stuff works and how fans expect stuff to work. Because in my head, it's like, even if I have an idea of how something works, like once if the game is out and the thing isn't in the game, then usually I don't think it's like I try to I pretend like I don't know, like it's up for interpretation, you know? That's one of those things too where does that make sense? Yeah, because we don't put in the game, it's like it could be anything, and I kind of like for some of that stuff to be open-ended. And the Wielder Pact is one of those things, like I don't know,
It's something that we like, I don't know, like there's a lot of things that we would sort of talk about to a degree, but not actually like write things down about.
I think that's
So,
fair.
it's like New York.
What?
Yeah, like New York.
What's that mean?
I don't know, you tell me, Ray.
No. I have a more general question. I believe from Chevreau again. What did you learn while making Chicory that you're taking forward into Beastie Ball? I'm cheating. Sorry, Chicory. I'm talking about Beastie Ball.
Learn that we're taking forward.
And all the things you learned from making Chicory that is very helpful to know for a new game.
Yeah, I'm thinking about this like seriously right now. It's an interesting question because I feel like one of the like with every game, whenever we finish a project, like the next thing I jump onto, usually I go in a pretty different direction, and what that partly involves is like taking everything I just learned and throwing it out the window and doing like the opposite. And like there is a lot of like okay, on the practical side, I can say that having really gone through it on console porting, and just like basic technical stuff on Chicory, like it definitely put a lot of fear in me and a lot of awareness on like more types of things that can go wrong.
Technical stuff.
Yeah, tentacle stuff. Just normal game development things. There's technical things and there's tentacle things, and don't get it twisted, okay? Yeah.
You know how it is.
On the technical side, like I'm more scared of things going wrong, and I think I set up like future projects always get a little bit more smart about how they do things. and yeah, in a way that's good. So that's not like an exciting answer. I think like yeah, I mean from the I'm trying to think about like how these games relate just like on a story level too, because I definitely feel like I grew a lot as like I'm talking about like yeah, like as a writer I feel like I grew a bunch too, but it's hard to sometimes put into words too, like what like specific things, because the games are so different. Like I'm like by definition I'm doing stuff like a really different style and really different types of characters, but I feel like the spirit of that stuff comes in there. Sometimes if I'm like stuck on like if I'm trying to come up with something for Beastie Ball and I'm like stuck on like how to write a character or a certain scene, sometimes I'll actually like think about like, oh well, how would I have done this in Chicory, or like how did Chicory solve this problem, you know? And funnily enough, like sometimes that gets me through, like because yeah, like that's like a mode I know how to write through and figure things out in, and sometimes it helps me see like, you know, you get really trapped in like one game's kind of like fiction or shape, and yeah, having like experience in other types of things helps me to like yeah, I don't know if that answer makes sense, but that comes up a lot.
No,
I feel like I'm arguing a lot, Alexis, but maybe you're thinking about Chicory too much right now.
Yeah.
I'm curious if
you have to reach
Lena
into the depths
also,
of your soul to imagine Chicory relaxing.
I'm curious
Can't
if
take
Lena
me
also
for
has
music.
any answers to that question in regards to like taking forward things into Beastie Ball, because I know the soundtrack sounds really different so far from what everyone has heard. But curious if there's any.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much. I mean, kind of what Greg was getting at, of just kind of like throwing out a bunch of stuff and like trying something new. It's very much, I feel like Chicory's soundtrack kind of came about because I just like finished doing Celeste and doing all of that stuff, and it was very like synth forward, and I was like, I want to do live instruments. And then now with Beastie Ball, I was like, I've been doing all of these live recordings, you know, I want to do something like weird and you know, on the more like retro chiptune-y kind of end of things. And I don't know, like it's kind of funny because like there's a lot that I'm doing on Beastie Ball that it's kind of like less technological than Chicory. Like there's like, we did a lot of like dynamic music stuff in Chicory. Beastie Ball is primarily like just, you know, like doing loops and stuff for various things. There's like some dynamic stuff for like the defense layer in sport matches, which is cool. And like the way that we trigger like the end of match music. Okay, I just kind of contradicted myself. We are doing some dynamic stuff, but you know, I don't feel like I'm doing as many like dynamic layers. I'm just kind of writing like loops like I used to. Like it feels very like kind of communing with younger composer Lena, where I've just like, I've got, you know, a whole bunch of I don't know, just, you know, just writing catchy stuff and just kind of rolling with it. I guess like one thing that I kind of like, you could say that I'm taking forward into Beastie Ball is like, you know, every boss in Chicory had its own music, it had its own aesthetic to it, and you know, it made sense because of like story stuff and everything, and in a lot of like RPGs, like you don't have a huge amount of variety for battles, despite like that being sort of the main thing you're doing. Yeah, especially for bosses. Like you get into a boss battle and it's like, here's the boss theme, and you're like, yeah, pump. You know, you're really pumped up for it. And so I really liked sort of like the variety of styles that we were able to write for the Chicory bosses. And so that was kind of one of the things that was kind of informing my decision to propose to Greg to like do unique ranked match boss themes for all of the ranked coaches.
I feel like we'll
so
all
much
better.
character.
Go for it. I bet we'll be able to answer this question better in a couple years, like after we finish Beastie Ball. Because right now, like, everything we're doing is really defined by how it's not like Chicory and how we're like really thinking about all the stuff we don't know, what we're learning. But
Yeah.
I know in retrospect, I can think of tons of stuff that I learned from Wandersong that applied to Chicory, but when I was working on Chicory, I wasn't really thinking about, So I feel like it's, I feel like right now we're really thinking about not Chicory every day. But in retrospect, it's going to be obvious. It's like, oh yeah, I don't know. I bet when you play BC Ball 2, like you're going to see all these weird little echoes and things. It's like, it comes down to a little tool in our toolbox, right? It's like another kind of habit we fall back on, a thing we know how to do, and when we're stuck and when we don't know like how to figure out something, it's like we have this thing in our head, right? This thing we know how to do. That yeah.
It's good to hear how things grow just naturally, even when they're not related to your previous work. This is a very calm Chicory.
Oh,
Is that a can of beer?
She's
Relaxing.
So relaxed. I thought she had like a can of beer. Cerveza Cristal.
Something.
What would beer be called in the Chicory universe, or are they forbidden?
Suds.
Suds? Yeah. Wait, what's soda called?
Suds like that stuff that disease SpongeBob had in
Wasn't it called
season 1 of
Fizz?
SpongeBob.
Fizz is soda.
Yeah, fizz is soda.
Yeah.
A cold
There's a
one.
place called Suds.
A cold
I did
one.
not know the disease of the sponge.
A dozen
Well,
cold ones.
In the cartoon.
A 6-pack of cold ones.
A cold
I
one.
have some sillier drawing prompts if you are interested in moving on.
Yeah, let's see another one.
Someone asked for pizza. Pizza seems to melt into a puddle of paint, so they're interested in just seeing pizza in pure paint form.
I mean, you've seen it. It's just
Pretty much. Like, if you could theoretically see the pizza in the puddle.
well, actually,
Like, if you increase the contrast enough and you can see
Puddle.
its vague outline.
so something that we were trying to do. Oh my gosh, it's been so long since I played the game. You can see pizza's like ears in the paint, right?
Right, very
And
vague.
like their nose.
Can you? I don't remember which things we did.
So there was a period of time. There was a period of time when we were like, how are you gonna see that it's pizza? Well, you should be able to see like their hat. Which is all well and good until until suddenly there's like
Yeah, the
50
walls. Yeah, and you have to swim the walls.
and,
Yeah.
and you have to swim up walls, and so I was like, okay, well, like the only way we're going to be able to do this so that it makes sense is if we have like different angle drawings of like every single hat
Which we do not need to do.
from like this angle and this angle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
and I feel like you felt like the hat was so important that you actually considered it briefly, which is saying a lot because like you're always
That doesn't
very,
sound like me. It doesn't sound like me.
you, but I
It was a
I-
younger you. That was a different Greg from the past.
I'm
That's some things I brought from Chicory was not to do that.
That's a good learning lesson. Another prompt was... Hang on, let me double check this name. Ray, Radford City wanted to see pizza, but as a sea slug.
Let's go. Let's go.
I think that's the best one so far, honestly.
They're all good, but I do want to see pizza as a sea slug.
One of those little sea bunnies or one of those sea dragon freaks.
Why are you calling them freaks?
I love them. I say
Sea
freaks with
normals.
great affection.
Normals, please.
See normals. Yeah, they're
Sea normals.
And there's another question that I'm sort of paraphrasing from Sky Kid, but also I feel is a good jumping point for maybe discussing some other things. Is the idea that some people feel maybe like they don't want to play the game or that they're intimidated by it because it's a game about drawing and they feel like, oh, maybe my drawings are going to suck and I don't want to be reminded of that. But that's one of the main themes in the game is like something that's incorporated into the creativity of it. So how do you balance like promoting a game that's like about drawing but acknowledging that some people are going to feel intimidated by that?
I would be curious to hear Adam's take on that, because this is actually something that I like. It makes so much sense in retrospect, but not something I like when we were designing the game and planning it. I thought of it as a draw, which in retrospect is pretty naive. But I was like, everyone on Earth has drawn before. Everyone knows that drawing is fun. Surely if you make a game that has drawing in it, everyone's gonna like flock to that. Like
everyone drew, at least when they were a kid.
Yeah, right. And like drawing's obviously fun, but like I actually totally get what people are saying when they say that, because there is something intimidating about it. Like drawing kind of feels like work more than it does feel like fun. Obviously, the way we designed the game is like completely about like changing people's relationship to that and like highlighting the fun parts of it. But I think even like, like when like even nowadays, like on probably right at this moment, someone's on Steam browsing and is looking at our store page and sees that it's about drawing, and they're like, I don't know, I don't know that we ever like properly figured it out. I guess is what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm curious if Adam has thoughts about that.
I mean, I feel like it was the easiest marketing thing because that is a concern that people have, and like, which again, obvious because the character has that concern too. But that being like this shared anxiety that people have when they're not kids anymore, especially, that is like, that would be the thing that would pull them in. So they'd be like, oh, well, I mean, if it's a game where they like grade your drawings, that's not going to be for me. And we'd be like, oh, you're in luck. Opposite. Like, yeah. And this is actually a character that like talks about those things and worries about those things, and I think you're really going to like it. And then it was just like, yeah, we never really ran into a thing. But I think it's also like when you pick the parts of the game that you want to show, or like picking parts of the game that are focusing on like all the different pieces of it that have like a freeform activity, or have like there's no because there's no part of the game where you make a drawing and then the game goes, I don't like it. You can't even show that to anybody. So, and there are all these like joyful, cool things that you do in it. So like,
people in chat are pointing out Fennel in dinners is very mean to you.
Yes. But yeah, like there's so many, like, because the game, like this is, I was talking right at the very start about like what was fun for me about this project is that you get to have a whole like Zelda adventure, but you don't have to murder any rabbits or kill any slimes or any of that stuff. And but part of that is like the fantasy of the drawing game, the fantasy of the painting game very much is like not about like your drawing being good or bad. It's about like using it to have fun and like just put ink on a page. And like, so everything in the game is that. So when people are seeing the game for the first time, they're only seeing all of these like positive parts of what painting and drawing can be, because that's all the things that the game is made out of. And like, I feel like we almost never run into people who, if they've seen 7 seconds of the video game, worry that it's been very rare that people go, oh, well, this isn't going to be for me or something like that. They see like, oh, paint, swimming, and maybe it's just a thing where like maybe like Splatoon helped or something. Like people accept that like you're allowed to do painting in games and as like a fun activity instead of like Mario Paint or something. Like I don't know. Basically, we didn't run into it much. It's a very joyful. The game has so many joyful painting activities that I feel like that's generally what people are reacting to. That's their first impression. Is, oh, yeah, excellent. This is great. I love it.
Just as a player and someone who enjoys the game, I think it's wonderful that Chicory is sometimes pitched as a game about art, but I find it easier to pitch as it's a game about being an artist. If you are interested in a game about making art, that's fine, perfectly good. If you're looking at the game and thinking, oh, I don't know if I can do this, I'm not very good at drawing, you should absolutely, extremely play it. That's the whole point.
Yeah, it makes sense. I guess, yeah. Yeah, I wonder how it. Yeah, it's a very complicated it's like a big subject that like games like I like when you say like if I try to picture like if I try to imagine I'm somebody who doesn't know this game and I picture someone says a game about being an artist, it's like that sounds so daunting and complicated. Like I don't know what that looks like and what that game's about really, so it's Yeah, the parts of this game that I think we're most excited about, I guess it's true for anything, right? When you really love something, the parts you're most excited about are always like ephemeral, like big ideas that are hard to put into words.
Right.
To me, what's fun about the game, if I want to convince someone to play it, it's like you hang out and you color stuff in, you know? That's like how I think about it. And I hope that they get tricked into having feelings, but that's not what I pitch them on.
Wow.
Yeah. People, this is a very good pizza slug, and several people have requested a sea bunny chicory to go with them.
I think that would kill me instantly. If I can ask another...
We'll find out.
If I can ask another lore question from Tyrion Bayou. Had Pizza and Chicory failed to stop the cataclysm at the end of the game, what would have happened to Picnic? If you feel comfortable answering.
I feel like, I feel like we, since I just make this kind of okay, I had a picture in my head of like that the big tree would get even bigger, and then it would like a black hole, like a hole in the ground would open up under the tower, and the tower would fall into it, and then all the like it would get bigger and all like stuff in the and it would just get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it would just be terrible. Yeah. So good thing that they didn't mess that up. But yeah, a big old hole.
That's how it is with art sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you go in the hole.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Is that related to the hole behind the tower, the Wielder Tower, or is that just a hole? Because someone mentioned that there is a... If you look in the map, there's like the clouds that are behind the Wielder Tower, and then...
Oh, right! That's right.
It's just a big chasm.
That's right, there's a big chasm there already.
Yeah.
Big chasm.
Maybe that's
Oh my
where it
God.
came from. Personally, I always assumed, okay, the brush wars are over. We need a place to house the wielder with this great power. This looks suitably ominous. Yeah, you know how it is when you're building in the wake of a great war over supernatural power.
Now I'm wondering about the hole. Greg, what's with the hole?
Wait, that's the question, is what's with that hole?
Yeah, that's the new question that I'm asking you right now.
What's with that hole?
What's with that hole?
It's a geologic feature. I mean, like, why is there a mountain there? Why is there a river there?
We put that there.
There's a hole.
Yeah, who put that tree there? Why, it's a feature
Take
like
it
any.
up with the birds. Take it up with the birds carrying the seeds.
Yeah. Some places just have holes. Maybe not in, where you come from. Maybe you don't have any big holes, but, doesn't have to be weird about it.
Holes in New York?
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any significant holes in New York. The hole in my pockets because everything's expensive.
Oh.
I have another question that was very amusing because I thought it came up when there was the bug talk earlier. One person, let's see. Smugcat asks, who and what were Chicory's parents like? But when bugs came up, someone said, Chicory is the name of a plant, and all the bugs were named after plants. Are her parents bugs? Was she raised by the bugs?
Whoa. She wasn't raised by bugs, no, because bugs use like Latin, use the species name. But Chicory, I don't think is like a name I would have seen on the Wikipedia list of plant genuses, so it wouldn't have been a bug name.
No, but it would be funny.
It would be funny. Yeah, Chicory's parents. I feel like this is probably a conversation we had like a year or two before the game came out. We probably even thought about them popping up at some point, in some iterations of the story, but it didn't really fit. And because they aren't there, I'm reluctant to say anything specific about them. Because I think we had some ideas about what they were like, but the honest answer is that we don't really know.
Sometimes you leave those things open.
Yeah.
Chicory and Pete Slug.
They're very cute. They are incredibly good. Since we're sort of getting into endgame stuff, Nanto2016 asks, did you already have the ending of the game in mind when starting off? Was there trouble getting content between the beginning and the end?
No, did not have the ending in mind. I think when we were like halfway through the game is when I thought about the thing where like Pizza was going to grow the brush. At that
just
point,
kind of like it like I feel like near the beginning of production we've been kind of agonizing about the end a lot, and then we just kind of kept making the game, and then the ending that we eventually got to just seemed like kind of inevitable. Like
there was actually, I think I could find. I'm not gonna do it on the screen. We had a Google Doc when we first pitched the game to Lena. Like I think we put some materials together for like what the game was gonna be, and I had like a story doc. Yeah, and it included like a draft of the story, including like an ending idea for it. But that ending that we wrote then was not what the end of the game ended up being. I think ended up changing a bunch.
Yeah.
And then I even had like I remember I had a crisis of faith like as I was like in the last like couple months of the project, we were getting close to like actually doing the final boss, where I had like I had a moment where I was like, man, I almost feel like pizza should just like actually just quit like at the end of the game. Like that was like. That seemed like a valid direction the story should go in, because like, you know, just looking back over the story and all the themes in it, and especially, and this is like an older version too, so we were still kind of going you know, just kind of doing stuff in order, and there was a feeling by the end where it was like, man, like wielding sucks. And like this is like not healthy for pizza, and like everyone around them is like telling them to like that they should stop, and I was like, man, what if they stopped? Like and that was like a cool ending, you know, like what if they just like found a different way to live? And that almost seemed like valid, but them ended up going like a different direction with it. But yeah, like it was tough because we wanted the big thing, you know, we always want to make something that feels like authentic. I didn't want to just like, I don't know, like, and then everyone was happy at the end, you know, like it had to be like, I felt like we wanted to earn that ending and have it feel like it came from an authentic place and got to there like from. Yeah.
And something pretty significant had to change. Like,
yeah.
Because like the reason for the brush existing and like everything around the brush was very different when we started making the project, and it like kind of developed as we like kept asking ourselves questions and being like, well, if that, then that, and like it kind of led like slowly but very kind of naturally, I think, into like this is kind of messed up.
Yeah.
Kind of a messed up job for like one person to have.
Yeah, I think one of the big like changes in thinking that we had coming like from when we started the project to the end, because at the beginning I think we imagined an ending that was going to be a lot more like selfish for pizza one way or another, where it's like, okay, at the beginning of the game they like don't feel like they're a real artist, and the end of the game they're like a super artist, they're like a master and they love painting now and they've solved all their personal problems. But then what we ended up going for was something like, I can think the other extreme, which is like a very selfless ending that's like more about like here's this thing that like we should really like, this should be like democratized, like everyone should have access to this cool thing, because that's like, I guess what we were actually like, that's actually what's been wrong the whole time, right? Like that's actually what is twisted about this world, is that like only one person gets to be this like special super person that makes stuff, when it's like everyone should get to be that person. And that was like an understanding that we didn't really have until we kind of went through the whole story and sort of like thought about, you know, saw it from all these different characters' perspectives and stuff.
That's really cool. If I can ask a more broad question, this also includes Lena, if she feels like answering. I mean, Lena. From Catalyst, of all the areas in Chicory, which has your favorite vibe?
Tea Time Meadows. I'm at Lena.
While you're thinking about that, I would like to add another prompt. A couple people wanted to see Lemon, but one person in particular wanted to see Lemon having a good time for once.
Oh, wow, we're getting everyone out of their element here.
We like seeing something new.
We should draw someone suffering next.
Yeah, I think we should draw
someone
Harry
who's
suffering.
Yeah.
My favorite vibe. I think it's not like the most relaxing place. Like one screen is, but like I really like Spoon's Island. Like I think it just has like a really fun atmosphere to it. And yeah, you do kind of like relax in the hot springs there. But yeah, no, just I I would chill on that like hilltop and paint for a while. I think that's a nice screen there.
I'm really like I always put like oceans and islands in every game I do because I just think they're the coolest darn thing in the world. And I especially love an island that has weird puzzles in it. As just like a place, to exist in a game. So I put that in pretty much every game I do. So yeah, Spoon's Island. It's like I actually do love that vibe. That might even secretly be my answer too. But I just have that in every game. So it's so embedded in my personality. Tea Time Meadows was like my choice because it wasn't one of the places we planned at the beginning of the game. And even though it's like there's probably a couple of areas in the game that are like sort of like similar flavor, but that one. I don't know. Yeah, that one just really hit me the right way, and I wasn't planning for that area. I kind of feel like it came up naturally as like, it's like Lena's music and Madeline's background stuff, and we just kind of had this blank spot in the map to fill up with stuff, and it sort of turned into this like, I don't know, it's like an unplanned, beautiful thing that just kind of cropped up in the middle of the game map.
It was fun. Like that was also like peak start of the pandemic when like that stuff started coming together. I'm remembering now because like I've told the story before, but the background music for Tea Time Meadows started as a piece of music that I wrote like as kind of like my town theme for the Animal Crossing that came out around that time. Because I wrote like a little like town theme just like for my town, and I was like, I should write a full piece of music based off of this little melody. So I wrote a piece of music and sent it to Greg, and Greg really liked it, and so I ended up like sort of retooling the instrumentation a little bit, and we put it into Chicory.
So canonically, everybody in our game who goes to Tea Time Meadows is actually visiting Lena's Animal Crossing New Horizons town.
I haven't loaded it up in 2 years. It's terrible.
It's so scary. You can never go back.
I don't want to load it up. I don't want people to be disappointed in me.
Kaz has a question for Lena. How did you go about implementing dynamic music, fading in and changing as parts of the song, as parts of the game change?
Greg's cool audio engine from WanderSong.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the Bard engine is sort of the audio tool that we use in conjunction with GameMaker. And it's kind of like you plug in the parameters, and then we can assign different like tracks to different layers, and Greg basically behind the hood is changing the parameters to adjust the sliders basically.
There's a lot of like, it's not a perfect tool. So I know like if you're using something like Fmod, like for one thing, I think in a lot of other projects, Lena does a lot of the implementation on her side as well. And it's usually like other tools are a bit more robust in how they can work with samples. So like what I'm getting at is that for a lot of stuff we have to do in Chicory and in Beastie Ball, like Lena has to like, there's certain things she has to do differently to make it work. It's like, for example, if you have like a part of the track that's looping and a part of the track that's like, it plays only once and then it starts the looping part, usually like, what am I getting at? So like our audio engine, it's the timing on it is actually a little bit fiddly. So what Lena often has to do is like make sure that the part that like doesn't loop still has a little bit of extra sound at the end in case the loop starts a little bit late or a little bit early, so they can kind of like not always be perfectly in time. So there's a lot of like little things that she has to do differently to make that stuff line up, I guess is what I'm getting at. Like it's there's lots of little like tricky details now to make those things line up, but there's I guess there's like a whole probably college course in like how you do like dynamic, how you split up dynamic tracks and like
and like the stuff like the boss encounters were like way more complex than just like, hey, there's an open world area that has two different like intensity levels.
Yeah, some of that stuff, like a lot of like what makes that implementation work a lot of the time is sort of like high level thinking and design. Like it was Lena's idea to do the like the way the area BGMs transition where there's like a screen where it goes down to like a half version of it, and then the next screen it's like no music, and the next screen is like the next track starts. That was like Lena totally came up with that. I wouldn't have thought about doing, because I hadn't seen a game that does music that way. And like on the technical side, that stuff it is actually pretty easy to do because it's just different layers of the same track with some instruments turned on and off. But yeah, I think that stuff works really well because it's very thoughtful and like how the tracks are written and yeah, how it's subsection put and how long the fades are and what screens are the fades happening on and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's all kind of part of the level design in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Draw detail in Lemon's. Never before seen detail in Lemon's hands.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a very sweet lemon.
So cute.
I think for the interest of time, I do want to ask Alexis for one final prompt later when she's more done with this. And I know that Q and Robin already know what that is, but so another question. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on, so it's like hard to read for me. Okay. Val.wav asks, were Chicory Pizza, Blackberry, or any other character ever a different animal earlier in the development / concept phase?
Yeah.
We did hear about Pancake going through some phases earlier.
Well, that's Pancake, but this is about Chicory and Blackberry and pizza.
The question didn't include other characters, like anyone else.
Pizza was a dog before pizza was pizza. It was always going to be a dog as the main character. That's for sure.
Chicory we played with a deer for Chicory, but pretty rapidly settled on a hare for Chicory. Blackberry was a million different things.
Yeah, Blackberry, like
Very complicated.
we didn't even know, like, it was like we knew the facts about Blackberry. It's like, okay, this person like was wielder before Chicory was kind of the only prompt, but
we didn't know their vibe. Like they went through a lot of different vibes.
yeah, like we had drawings of like a really old person that was kind of grouchy and crabby and like you shouldn't do things that way. And we had like really intense, like big, like buff people that were like intimidating and strong and
we had like a old hermit who was like kind of crotchety but like actually kind of friendly.
Yeah.
Not how.
Yeah.
There's actually a pretty in-depth Blackberry post on Kickstarter, and I think it's in the art book.
Yeah, and how I developed the character.
Yeah, how I developed the character. A lot of old sketches and stuff.
Yeah, of every character, I think hers was like went through kind of the most changes because it was
of literally every character in the game, I think.
Yeah, it was. There's a weird. It's all kind of from a phase of the game where we didn't really know what the plot was going to be yet. Like we had kind of a sketch of an idea, like okay, like there's this janitor, and then they get a brush. We don't even know exactly like how do they get to the brush? Like what level of decision making happened? Like is the other wielder, is Blackberry around? We know they're called Blackberry, but like is that other wielder around and they give the brush to you, or do they not want you to have it and you steal it from them, or until eventually it's like, oh, they're not even in the building at all, and then like you just happen upon it. Like there were a lot of ways it could have gone. We didn't know some of those specific details, so like we were like sort of like exploring questions in that space, but we were also exploring questions like what kind of characters are these, what's their vibe, and some of those things are all kind of happening at the same time and slowly clicking together little Lego pieces as we sort of built up what the story was going to be.
Yeah, we also didn't have that many like other characters yet.
Yeah, it's like once we had settled on those three, I think everything else, like suddenly the structure of the game was really clear.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, okay, like here's how it starts, here's the first problem, here's the first boss, and then here's what happens after that, and then what happens, oh, then this happens, and then what happens, oh, that happens, so it's like, okay,
We got back.
I'll draw while Alexis is gone.
Yeah,
give me a prompt.
Can I give you another silly little prompt?
Yeah, I can only do silly ones. I'm not doing anything serious.
Someone wanted to see Turnip and any members of his family.
Okay.
The little guy.
Let me see where Turnip is. There we go. Oh, that's easy. Yeah, it's just like oh wait, I'm actually. Yeah.
I think that you should name a Turnip in Beastie Ball.
Yeah,
that would be fun.
Hang on, wait, can I?
Hi,
Oh, this is fun.
Bye,
Hi,
Adam.
Adam.
Adam has to go now. Thank you very much for attending.
Oh my god, that's funny. He said he's gonna go eat pizza.
God. Pizza lookout.
Greg is so intently drawing this beautiful, lovely drawing. I saw a question.
I can
in
make
the-
it's not my draw.
Well, I was gonna ask
He's
Lena a
talented.
question. Okay, it's not all about you, Greg.
Yes, please.
That's true.
From EPZ379, when it comes to creating music for the games that you've worked on, specifically Chicory, what goes into creating the leitmotif for the character? Are there any specific notes that come to mind when it comes to characterization?
Yeah, like it really depends kind of like where I'm like coming from. Like is the theme for a character that is going to like have a lot of development over the course of the story? Is it a theme for someone that has, just kind of like a very strong presence but doesn't necessarily change a lot? And in Chicory, like both Chicory and Pizza had very prominent changes over the course of the story, so I wanted to write leitmotifs for them that were like really iconic of who they were and of like how they were able to transform over the course of the game. And I actually wrote them pretty much like in conversation with each other, which is fun because I got to write a duet with them playing each other's themes. And in Chicory, not only is there a leitmotif, there's also like main instruments for the characters as well. So I got to play around with that a lot too in writing their music. And so like my headcanon as I'm going through like theme writing process basically is like Pizza, starting with Pizza, like their theme is very much oh, I love this.
If I can interrupt, a couple people also requested Peppermint if you'd like someone else to draw.
That's little stars.
I mean, I was just gonna draw. She can draw for the game.
Greg is
I
discovering
want to change out the star brush, so my art career is over.
No, once you select the star brush, that's just the brush that you've got for the rest of the day. Waiting for our timer.
What the heck?
Yeah.
Wait,
Very good track turnip.
you put bananas in this?
Banana water.
Sorry about it.
She's drinking a drink with bananas floating in it.
It's good.
Sorry.
That was like a thing I saw on TikTok.
I'm not done. Sorry.
Like for punch.
Yeah, bananas are fruit.
It's very.
Now that we've been fully sidetracked.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I know. So like I was talking about writing
Were you
Pizza's
starstruck?
theme. I was starstruck by the starbush. The theme for like the leitmotif for Pizza, I wrote it specifically with like a lot of repeated notes in it. So like, ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-da-da, and sort of like this kind of like almost like stuttering effect to it. Because I just had this like idea of like Pizza being this character who was just kind of like, it's kind of like, trying to get started and just kind of like stumbling a little bit, as they're going, but like kind of picking themselves back up. And I wanted to contrast that with Chicory's theme, which was way more of like this, ba-da-da-da-da, and it's just kind of like it's the same kind of gesture, it's the same kind of melodic idea, but in a way more elegant, kind of flowing sort of way, because Chicory is this master who's been practicing over all these years. And so putting those two contrasting ideas in music of like really like kind of flowing legato and then really kind of staccato, just like da-da-da-da-da, kind of stuttering feel to it, was able. Yeah, and so I was able to like contrast those things against each other, and write music that kind of was able to use those as metaphors in the composition of it. So those are the kinds of things that go through my head when I'm thinking of themes for characters.
Yeah, that's really neat.
So cool.
Someone else, since Dinners just came back up, someone asked earlier, how many live instruments are in the Dinners theme?
A lot. I don't know. Like I'd have to. I don't have a perfect count in my head. There's bass. There's drums. There's guitar. There's saxophone. There's clarinet, violin, cello, bass, drums. Did I say drums already? I think I said drums already. It's around 10 or under, something like that. Yeah. Whoa! I got blurry. Oh, there I go. Okay.
You're fading into the sunset.
I moved too fast. I motion blur.
God, you're blurry. Okay, it fixed itself.
I'm back.
The question blurred her. What have you done?
I wanted to. There was a continuation of the same question from EPZ G79, but for Greg and Alexis. What was the thought process of giving a limited color palette for pizza once they got the brush? Because we see that Chicory has a much more intensive color range. So was the idea to give pizza a restricted palette for like game reasons, or was it like an artistic reason?
Both.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I think the number one reason to do like a lot of like I would say the way a lot of stuff in this game worked, it started as a game thing. Like this is what's better for the game. But yeah, because for example, like it's also true that drawing with a controller or a mouse is not easy. So no matter what, like your drawing's not going to turn out the way that you want. And just by nature of that fact, like that's partly why we decided to have the character Pizza be somebody who didn't feel like an artist, so that it's like feels canonical when your drawings are kind of like rough and misshapen. It's like, well, I'm playing as a character who doesn't know how to draw, so that's like expected. And that helped. That helped get a lot of decision making. Like, so yeah, the color thing. It's like, I just think it wouldn't be fun if you had a color picker, because it's not what you're not supposed to be thinking about drawing like pieces with like particular colors or anything. You're supposed to be exploring and filling things in and interacting with stuff, like using paint and exploration and stuff like that. So yeah, I just thought to get people out of the tools and just like looking at the screen. It was like 4 colors. The other thing we did is like we tried to have like no interface on the screen at all. It's either all game, like, you know, either like literally the world, or if you open a menu, it's like a full screen menu that covers up everything. There's no like buttons that hover around or little indicators for colors and stuff. So everything was kind of decided around like how to build a game that was going to have like no interface, be super simple to operate, and give you just like as few opportunities for decision paralysis as possible, so that like you just start drawing and putting stuff on the screen. And
like try like not feeling too, because like I was like absolutely the type of person who would play at the beginning and try to be really precious about everything, but I like very quickly I started when I was playing through the game, for whatever reason, just like splashing color all over the place and like enjoying myself a lot more doing it that way.
Yeah, so we made a lot of decisions trying to put people in that headspace. And then there are a lot of things we've got for free by doing it. Like, for example, the fact that every area has a distinct color palette is like one of the things I think makes exploration so much better, because when you show up to somewhere that has, like, you know, when you're exploring somewhere for the first time and see the colors are different, you're like, oh, whoa, okay, like what's this zone? And when you're coming back through an area that you've been to before and you see colors that you recognize, it's like, oh, back in this area, even though like everything's in black and white, it's actually, and it's really hard to tell sometimes, like, you know, it's like clarifying for players like what they're in a new space and stuff can be really hard in games like this, like where you're coming back in circles and coming back to old areas and stuff. But in this game, everything's really memorable, and yeah, colors have a lot to do with that and like establishing really clear different places. So yeah, the decision came from the making it easy to draw.
Yeah, if Alexis wants another prompt, a lot of people wanted peppermint.
Oh yeah.
Wait, I already did. Oh, peppermint, that one. Yeah. There's pepper and there's peppermint.
Yeah.
Those are different characters.
Peppermint.
Peppermint doing what?
Another question for Lena from Annalie/Peas. Any notes on the boss themes? The boss themes are usually more electronic. Is that like in contrast to the more orchestral sound of Chicory, or was the more orchestral sound of like the area music? Like, was it intentional symbolism, or was it just like for fun?
I don't know. I kind of always imagined like the darkness, like this kind of ominous force that you were like battling with in these boss battles, to kind of be this sort of like electronic force, to, you know, like you mentioned, like contrasting with like the sort of the natural painted world and everything. Like every time that I was like thinking about like what is the sound of this like negative, you know, self-conflicting energy, it's like this. I use the same metaphor in Celeste, actually, of just like having this really electronic presence kind of being this like overwhelming force. And, you know, it's kind of an easy one because you can do so many like weird distorting effects with electronics and stuff. So like it lets you kind of have that aggression, that kind of grit to an antagonistic force. And it's something I get drawn to. I love writing for that kind of sound. So big rowdy boss battles is fun. It was also nice to do one that was like really kind of not that, which was the third boss against like the Shadow Chicory, where it's very like string quartet and kind of like this, or harpsichord and like very kind of almost elegant, kind of like Baroque feeling to it.
Yeah, it was like there were good reasons for doing it, but I feel like it was always sort of a dance between like what makes sense for the story, but also like what would be really cool and what do we really want to do. I feel like we're always sort of happy between those things, And sometimes it's like, well, I really want to have a song like this. Like, can this make sense? And it's like, well, I guess it makes sense if That's how like a bunch of things ended up being. Because the boss tracks were like. So, I mean, at least, for me, very self-indulgent. It's like, that's my favorite stuff, That's like, I want to put that in the game somewhere, so.
Yeah, and as a composer, you like to pop off. You like to write just kind of bangers for no reason, You're just like, yeah. Great, let's go. Greg at one point sent me just like this really intense like dubstep track, and he's like, can you make it like this? And I'm like, yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Like Skrillex dubstep, or like, I don't actually know too much about dubstep. Sorry, I'm a fake music fan.
I forget which track it was, but
it wasn't. I'm trying to remember
the second boss.
Yeah, I think for the second boss it was like Living Tombstones or something. like Halloween dubstep.
Spooky scary skeletons.
Potentially that was on the mood board for that.
Yeah.
No game about it, I think.
Spooky evil rabbit face.
It's spooky. You got that right.
Like people in chat. Oh, sorry. Just wanted to shout out one thing in chat. People are bringing up IMU or I don't know how to say that backwards, but IMU but backwards.
Just record and reverse it. You're fine.
I just need to activate that power on my soundboard. Yeah, there you go. That track. That was a fun one to do because it was like writing a piece backwards and forwards and then remixing it with its backwards forwards self, and it's bizarre. What a weird boss fight. Why'd you let me do that?
If we're open to a lore question, people are wondering, where in the world did all the lost kids come from?
So
originally the Lost Kids were not just going to be cats. They were going to be like all different kinds of kids, which I feel like would have made a lot more sense.
Right.
So you can imagine them as all different kids.
Right. Even then, though, where did they all come from? Where are the parents?
They all belong.
No, Chad has answered this. They're coming from the hole.
Oh,
of course.
The hole.
That's where babies come from in the Chicory universe, right?
Yeah.
They are all children of off-screen parents who will probably, like, I feel like I could say this pretty confidently, like they'll probably, most if not all of them, like their parents will come and find them eventually. And then eventually Beans and Pepper will just have Beans' kids and Pepper's kids.
What scares me the most is we've sort of addressed there are multiple provinces around the world and it hasn't been explored too much, which is also a question we could answer. But it is funny to imagine, how did they get to this little island of Picnic?
I think they all actually are from Picnic. It's just that like there's off-screen aspects of Picnic. The game is like a condensed version, right? So there's more people in the world than like
realistically the city would be massive.
Yeah, so there's a lot of people that exist that you don't actually get to see or know about, and that's kind of where they come from.
Yeah.
It does, No, I'm not going to open this can of worms, actually. I'm not going to...
It's casual.
You don't fall into the rabbit hole, Greg.
Yeah. Leave it there.
They did not come from the hole.
Well, no, they might have come from the hole.
I think some of them fell from the hole. I personally think some of them came out of the hole.
Yeah. I think if the hole's since the hole's here, we may as well also explain those too. Yeah, just get increasingly more canon the longer the stream goes for.
Writing is solving one problem with another. Also, related question: how does the wielder interact with other provinces? Do they remain uncolored, or do they have their own thing going on? I can see your eyes go wide.
My eyes are going wide because I'm making the expression that I'm trying.
Yeah, she's just acting as Peppermint right now. Yeah, so does the wielder help out other provinces? I think the answer is, well, no, because they're all really far away.
One brush.
There's only one. Oh yeah, I think there's only one brush. And that, yeah, like they only color in Picnic. If the rest of the world is not in color, I guess I could see the rest of the world is like not in color. That's kind of how I always thought about it, but it's like unclear, right?
I always meant that they did travel around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
They might go on like a worldwide pilgrimage.
Yeah, like they live in. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, like Picnic is like the home of the brush, but they'll travel around. Maybe like a couple of times during their
Just a couple. I guess you go to like wherever like needs.
wielder.
It's like the Olympics. It's like every 4 years, like some province gets like a wielder visit that like where they show up and they actually color some stuff back in. They touch some stuff up.
And we even know there's an ocean province, which brings up some very interesting ideas. If you want to draw anything else after Peppermint, I don't know how much time we have left, but you could draw some sort of sea creature. I guess we've already done the sea slug, so good job.
No, we should do the, while everyone is still here, we should do the one.
Yeah, I think we're on our last drawing.
Okay, this is the very important prompt that we got that Ray suggested be the final one. We were like, yes, absolutely.
Can you draw Pickle if they were one of the boss characters?
Oh gosh.
Like a boss in Chicory?
Okay. So
Yeah, like what if Pickle was somehow, for whatever reason, a boss that you had to face?
Pickle's trauma. Okay, they're lonely.
yeah,
They're lonely. They want a friend. They are.
maybe they're trying to like catch you.
Let's see a bit of Pickle's art style.
No, because it has to be stupid too. Like, they have to be like. I think no. I don't know. Okay. Well, here.
They want you to think they're very cool.
Yes. Okay. What I'm thinking is like they are. It's like it's that type of boss where there's like a really big scary creature, but they have like a really small little core. You know, it's like the real boss is actually like this tiny little weak point inside of it, and that's Pickle. But they're putting on this like really big persona, and they're trying to be like the biggest, coolest boss ever. I think that's Pickle's boss style.
That is a very good idea, I think.
They got like bat wings. They have like it's like every feature for animals. They got like bat wings.
Yeah.
You know, like bat wings and like goat horns and like
There's
deer
Sparkle Dog,
antler.
Lucy,
Yeah. You know.
Sparkle Fox.
Yeah. Pickle's boss is a sparkle dog.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think it would be like the biggest, coolest animal shape, and then like in the middle of it, you'd see like Pickle, like just like it's like an erased like little silhouette, like where the heart is or something. It's just like a little guy.
Just like kind of curled up.
Yeah.
One of the
You're making this too
prompts we
cool.
One of the prompts we didn't get to was Pickle and Onion hanging out with that. So maybe Onion is the one who has to face them.
Yeah.
I think Pickle. The lo-fi album.
Yeah, that's the album art cover for the Lo-Fi album. so that art exists already. This is a good new prompt that I'm excited for.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Evil Pickle.
It's a little like Gastic from hit game Beastie Ball coming out this year.
Yeah, kinda.
It
Yeah.
is the same concept, really.
Wishless
Yeah,
Beastie
similar.
Ball on Steam.
Wishless Beastie Ball on Steam. If you like what the people behind Chicory made, there's Beastie Ball coming right to your door.
Why does he look like Gritty? He's got like I'll lead you to it.
It's a pretty big serious.
It's serious, right? Yeah.
So just like
Are there other questions for us?
Yes. Let's see. You
Wait,
go ahead.
Can I ask a? Would who in Chicory do you think would play Fortnite?
Who in Chicory play Fortnite?
Yeah.
Oh, the streamer.
Actually, I think Russell
Fortnite.
wouldn't.
I think Clementine probably played for a while, but I don't know if it's anymore.
Clementine was really into it as a puppy.
Clementine's a gamer. This is
Yeah.
the best forever.
Well, they're not a gamer. They play Fortnite.
Wow! Wow!
Greg taking a hard
Brutal.
stance. What kind of games would BlackBerry be interested in if they would be interested in anything at all?
Chess.
Yeah, definitely.
Go.
Does.
Damn,
Anything that involves black and white.
Player.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's
Well,
I like backgammon.
You just board games, like old, like very ancient board games that have been around for a very long time, and like she's learned all the steps, all those like all those names for chess moves.
Yeah, I think we thought of that because like BlackBerry's like art, like boss fight art style, right? Is all like grids and diamonds and stuff, you know. So they feel pretty board gamey to me. Yeah.
That would be very cool.
Yeah.
As for an actual question, I saw from Pika Expert, going back to the color palettes, is it like that they have a preferred color palette, like wielders, or is it just like random, like the brush picks or something?
I think wielders are in control of the color palettes for sure.
yeah.
But
Or it might be something that they like gain greater control over time.
it's one of those weird things where it's like, why does Pizza's brushstrokes look different than Chicory's? And it's not like, you know, they don't have like an imaginary like Adobe Photoshop like brush picker that they're picking from. It's more just like
I think it's
their stuff just kind of comes out like that.
yeah, it's like a drawing style. Like you can intentionally like develop a style over time, but also everybody just has a style that they draw in, just like because of what they've seen and what they know, and like everything they've like experienced and like ever tried to draw.
Yeah, it's like the same way like when you're drawing a picture, like you have a habit of like how you curve your lines, how many lines do you use, how thick are your lines, like that type of stuff. And in Chicory World, that just also extends to like what colors come out of your brush, because it's as ephemeral.
Yeah, it's just about the feeling, which is why it's really bad when the feeling is bad. Moa asks, what is Pizza's favorite color? And I think it would be good fun in general. What is any character you can think of's favorite color?
What is it? Wait, what's whose favorite color was the main question?
What was Pizza's favorite color?
You pick Pizza's favorite color. I can't decide that for you.
That's true.
I mean, the only one who has a, I guess, canonical. I mean, Pickle always goes in the
Pickle likes that hot pink they use.
Yeah, suddenly we're coming back to Pickle a lot. Wow, they're really taking over.
Yep.
I love that freaking forearm. Oh man.
It's literally perfect.
VP.
So
Is this
great.
Is this like channeling Trogdor? The like
Yeah,
A little bit.
Yeah,
this is so good, Alexis.
Uh-huh.
Damn.
have like some scales.
We should stop streaming this. We should just like turn off the stream and then put this in Chicory 2 instead.
Chicory 2
Yeah,
confirmed.
We actually posted leaks after all.
But you fight them like 5 times, and they get like bigger and cooler and like more horns and sparkles every time.
Like
yeah.
Picklery.
You're like chasing Pickle around the world.
Boss.
Stop them.
Leno, while you're still here, has asked.
Yeah, one more question for me. I need to head out soon. But I was so captivated by this pickle drawing, so.
It's really good. Kez asked, Just Reach Out is part of the OST that's always really stuck out to me. It's short, but what were you trying to represent with it when you composed it?
I mean, the literal scene, it's like, you know, it's one of the only pieces in the game that's actually like sort of like scored to picture in a way. Because like the entire sequence is like this big like dynamic like thing of like it's progressing as you are growing your new brush, and so it's like the emotions of sort of recontextualizing what it means to be an artist and all of that. So like really trying to capture those feelings that led to the idea that you could even grow a brush in the first place. And taking, all the themes and everything, and kind of that's, what I was talking about before with the leitmotifs, like with Pizza's theme, because everything about it was so stuttery and kind of like, quote unquote amateur or whatever, I really wanted to recontextualize their theme in Just Reach Out, to really kind of have it be like this, the repeated motif was like a triumphant thing, right? Of it's like ba-da-bum-bum-bum, and it's like that's the first thing, it's not just like da-da-da-da-da-da-da, it's not preventing you from getting to the rest of the melody, it is the melody. And so it kind of becomes this defining feature of like ba-da-bum-bum-bum, ba-da-da-da-da, and it's like it really kind of like gives it that confidence to like finish growing the brush and to really take it into the final battle.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a very special scene, I think.
Yeah.
It's so fun to watch too. I like seeing other people's reactions to that scene.
Mm-hmm.
And like the music, like what's it called? It's like bubbling, something like that. It's like crescendo
Swelling?
or whatever. Yeah, that.
Crescendo, yes. Yeah, crescendo is the word.
It's bubbling like a cauldron.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for coming, Lena. That you had some wonderful answers.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. Great to answer everyone's questions about Chicory, and here's to 3 years. Dang.
Woohoo! Yeah. It's fun to come back to this game after this long. I kind of forgot about it. It's like such a different headspace than where we've been.
Yeah. We're too busy with sports.
Yeah.
Chicory should play sports if she wants to.
Chicory would be badass at sports, yeah.
I feel like Chicory
scary.
as a kid.
You seem she played a lot of sports.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, I think she, I think she would be very good at sports.
She's got strong legs.
Yes. And she's very
I think she was
competitive.
onto something when they dressed her up as Lola Bunny for Halloween.
Yeah, she's got strong legs. She's very competitive. Yeah, I feel like she stopped playing sports at some point to focus on wielding, and focusing on like trying to become the wielder.
The 9 tails on this pickle boss are like so genius,
Pickle.
so good.
Ephemeral pickle.
Drawing from the depths of the soul of the child who draws cool 9-tailed foxes in their middle school notebook. It's very real.
It looks so fun. I know everyone, every fan of Chicory is constantly asking, and I know it's already literally been asked in Ask the Devs, if you'd ever do post-canon like comic strips or a story like a novel or anything like that, or if you're kind of like
Of all the stuff that I've worked on, like I do like the world of Chicory a lot. Like I'm not opposed to coming back to it, but it's definitely not like in the plans for us right now.
Yeah, it's something that I've like thought about, like had little ideas for, but not in like a haven't thought about it in like a
actionable
like serious. Yeah. But
Ken character asks, "What's the pickle lore? You require pickle lore? Well, what do you need?" Sorry, I continue.
No, I mean, I think we basically answered that question about as adequately as we can for now. It's like, we're not really working anything to that effect. Maybe someday.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm always excited about doing new stuff too. There was a time when there was no Chicory, and that was like, everyone's like, why, we should make a Wonder Song sequel, and then they made Chicory instead, and
Make a Chicory sequel.
Yeah, and then we'll do Beastie Ball, and everyone will be like, well, why don't you make a Beastie Ball sequel? Or maybe they'll still be asking us for Chicory sequel, and that's when we'll know that we finally, we actually peaked, last game. And it's time to turn around.
Well, people still ask for a Wonder Song sequel. People who are maybe not in this call, maybe they are.
People asking for different sequels.
Maybe if I just wait long enough, I can make one game that's a sequel to all of them at the same time.
Wow.
You know, the same way we did Jeg, right? We'll just give everyone like not exactly what they want, but just sort of combine it all into one thing, and you know, and then no one will be happy. And that's equality.
Finally, Mega Mash Sisters.
What would that even be called? Like, Chicory a Songful Ball. No.
Yeah?
Chica Song Ball. Yeah.
Chica Song Ball? Wishes verse. Yo, the Wishes verse. Okay.
It's monstrosity.
This guy's awesome. Hey, what's going on with his legs though?
I couldn't figure out.
Is that one leg or two legs?
Two legs. It's got like one
Like
leg kind of weirdly posed behind the other leg.
Okay.
It's
You should draw like an
definitely
onion.
like a JoJo pose.
They should make a Shadow of the Colossus situation. It's like, yeah.
Give it the glowing weak points.
Jeg was a that was a Shuga that Chloe and Greg recruited during the Beastie Ball dev stream that was on Clay.
Oh yeah.
There were people who, I think it was Jeff and I don't remember the other.
Egg.
Jeff and Egg.
Jeff and
Yeah,
Egg.
someone said like Jeff, and I was like, okay, we'll just give nobody what they want and call them Jeg.
Jeg is perfect though.
Yeah.
We love Jeg, but he doesn't love us back.
No. And then there was also one named Greg. Was that Spreco? That was a Spreco, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Greg and Chloe were the Spreco and Ashalati.
That's how you say it. Is it Ashalati?
That's how I say it. I know it's not correct.
Oh. Wait, we're talking about Beastie Ball. This is Chicory. Oh my
We're
god. Ah!
talking about Chicory. Let's see. Is it still got quite a few questions?
I mean, we can talk about Beastie Ball.
No, there's a Chicory stream. Beastie Balls, 3 years from now, after Beastie Ball's been out for 3 years, then we can talk about Beastie Ball.
Yeah, we can't talk about it in between then. You only have to talk about it in 3 years.
Yeah.
Sports are cancelled.
Oh my god.
Here's something kind of interesting, but probably not very exciting. Were all the machinations on Spoon's Island made for the sake of the wielder trial, or was there just something else going on there?
Huh, that's a fun thought. I definitely imagine them as being a purely like wielder trial designed thing. Especially because it's like off on a random island that's like not really accessible or anything and not like inhabited or anything. So I just imagine that like some wielder was just like went out there and was like, oh sweet, no one's using this, so I'll just build some puzzles here. Because that's what everyone needs to become a better artist, is to solve a bunch of puzzles, obviously. That's like crucial. Like I think that's mostly what art school is, right?
Yeah, that's legit.
Kind of like maze, like little like puzzles. Yeah.
Yeah, you remember having to do platforming puzzles.
Yeah.
I never went to art school, but I wish that I could do platforming puzzles in real life.
We
Yeah.
had to do so much platforming puzzles.
That's what we call stairs. It's a real puzzle. I'm not even joking.
That was pretty good.
Grace K asked, what kind of place were you in making Chicory? Are there any specific experiences or media that influenced it?
What kind of place were we in? I feel like it was definitely like the starting point was, it was coming out pretty strong out of having made Wander Song. So those games in my mind are like pretty married together. That was one aspect of it for sure.
I think I said this a while ago in the dev thing, but like Ace Attorney was a big inspiration for me in terms of like how much like character and personality and emotion they pack into like one drawing or like a 3-frame animation. Yeah, that was a big inspiration for me.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, you know, what else?
I mean, like the biggest like feeling that I wanted to communicate in the game was about just how fun it is to make stuff. I think that's like a big idea that I had that I wanted to put into this game, and that was something that we kind of like touched on in Wandersong, but then ended up sort of following a different thread. But that's like for me personally, like such a big part of my life and such a big thing that like I was like excited to try to communicate in a game was just like the joy of making stuff and why that's great and why everyone should do it. So I think when I came given that Wandersong had kind of started there and then sort of lost its way kind of and like went some other way, I came into this game like really wanting to get that feeling across, and I think that informed a lot of our decision making, like what the story is going to be about, who the characters were, and that type of thing. It's like because they were asking what kind of place we were in, and I think that was like that's like as someone who's like made stuff, I feel like I was circling, like I've made a lot of games up before then, and I've been sort of circling ideas that I think were going to become this game, and this was sort of like my moment to like, I don't know, jump on that and like really be like, here, like I actually want to talk about this finally, you know. So I feel like yeah, I think it's like, and like in retrospect, I think it's interesting like the timing, because the fact that it came out during the pandemic, like in my mind, it's such a big aspect to like why the game resonated with so many people. Like, I mean, I think it's probably something that a lot of people would have related to anyway, but the pandemic was an interesting time for a lot of people because a lot of like I know like among the people I know, like my whole working career, I'd always been working from home. I'd always been like doing creative stuff, and thinking about like how to live like a life that was like fulfilling to me, and like that was something that I like. One of the reasons why I wanted to like communicate that idea to other people too is because I was just like, I don't know, like I really wanted people to get like excited about like, I don't know, taking control of their own lives and like just like getting back in touch with their creative side too, and I don't know, like finding comfort in doing that instead of being afraid of it. And that was something that like the pandemic, I feel like opened up like a lot of people's like lives are disrupted in a way that like exposed them to that idea more. Like they were kind of, a lot more people were suddenly ready to like think about that conversation. Like I know after the pandemic, a lot of people and then my, you know, that I know are like have been rethinking their relationship with their work and like what do they want to do, what do they want to get out of life and stuff. So I don't know. I'm sure the game was like came at a good time to like have that conversation with people. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that answered the question, but
I think that's a good answer. I think that's a fun answer. Henry and
It's hot pink. It's their favorite color.
it's Pickle's color. Henry and a few others were curious roughly how long were various wielders' reigns, particularly Blackberry and Chicory.
right. I think
we wrote that down somewhere.
did we? I don't
Or
remember.
at least-
We talked about it for sure. I think an average wielder's reign is like 8 to 10 years, I want to say. That's like about average. And then Chicory was like 2.5 or less years. And Blackberry was like 40 or 50.
No, not that long.
Yeah, I think so.
Down in here.
I'm pretty sure it was like 40. We definitely had a number at some point that was around there. Yeah, that's how I saw it.
Noi.
I mean, all of a sudden, it's ambiguous, right? It's just like a long time, and with Chicory, it's like not that long a time.
Just in rough chunks, comparatively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot how
Yeah.
good the art book is.
Yeah, it's really big.
I should buy this.
I was like, I'll just come and check this real quick. But no, it's very big.
Get back to drawing. Get out of here.
If anyone wants to have a look through the art book, I feel like I might have written it in there. At least what my head headcanon for it. But but it's also possible that I'm misremembering that, so I'm sorry if that's the case.
Oh no! Oh, but a shame. You'll have to look at all this wonderfully rendered art of Chicory and Pizza and all your favorite characters throughout the ages.
I love when creators say my headcanon for things that they made. So I'm like, you made it. You can just make it canon whenever.
There is space. There
Yeah,
is
but you didn't
space
put
for
it in the thing.
headcanon. Yeah,
I guess-
because it's not actually in the game, so you can just think whatever you want.
Yeah, that is really how it feels to us. Like,
Yeah, and like if it's something that we discuss and it actually makes it in the game, then that is canon. But if it's something that like
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I feel differently about certain things. Like if there's like an idea that I have about a character and I feel very, 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 very strongly about it, then that's canon. If it's just something that I've been like, I think it's like this, then that's a headcanon.
Yeah, it's like everything about it transforms once it goes out to the public, but like, on our side, like while we're making all this stuff, like a lot of things that are in the game were decided by conversations that kind of go like that, where it's just like, I think it should be like this. Well, I think it should be like this. Your idea is better. Okay, it's like that, and it's like, and until you really actually put it into the game, it's not really one way or the other, no one's really right. And
occasionally you put something in the game and you go like,
and then later on you're like, oh, that was stupid. Yeah, and you change it, so it's like, it doesn't really ever feel real. Like nothing in the game feels like for sure real to me a lot of the time, and it's like only when someone plays it and it's like established in their brain now too.
Yeah.
Now it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to change it now, obviously.
Yeah, like other people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
it can be a headcanon, but maybe one day the sequel will be there and we can fire.
Yeah.
You did
So cool.
just say that there are things that you're like, oh my god, why did I do that? I feel like is there something in Chicory that you're like, why did I put that line in there? Or like, why did I put that tidbit? Or is that not something you want to discuss?
It's not that I wouldn't want to discuss it, but I definitely can't think of anything on top of my head that I'm like I regret putting in the game. Yeah, I mean, it's all like, I would regret it. Like, I think I would only regret something if it was like harmful to somebody, if it was like, if it like, gave someone the wrong idea, then, like that's kind of, I guess that's more the only, right? Like, I meant to say this, but someone read it this way instead, and that was like objectionable. It's like, okay, well, I regret that I wrote it that way because that wasn't what I meant, But yeah, I mean, as far as the characters in the game, obviously there's a lot of stuff that's like weird. But I don't regret any of it. It's just like, well, that's what it is, That's like that's like the truth. That's like the canon, right?
Yeah, I guess I meant more like a lore thing that you're kind of like, dang, now I wrote that and now I have to like explain
Deal
it when
with it.
people ask about it. Yeah.
Is there anything like
Like the whole
nothing more than anything else? Yeah, like I sometimes I wish that I had cooler answers for things, like when like that brush first question earlier, right? Or like the big hole. It's like, yeah, some stuff we put in there just as we're going, and then we didn't really think about why it was there, and then you ask us stuff about it, and it's like, man, if I had a really cool answer, if I was like, I think there's a type of creator who like would totally just like have something on hand for stuff like that, but yeah, I don't know, the way we work is not totally like that. Like we think of stuff as it comes up. Yeah.
I think there's a lot to explore with Chicory, but it's the sort of thing that I think is more fun to let people explore based on what they're interested in, because everyone comes to the story with their own interest.
Mm-hmm.
God, this pickle jarring
And
goes hard.
it'll speak to different people. Let's see. Someone asked about Crunch Canyon specifically, but just in general, how do you think the world recovers from the outbreak of black trees? Do they have to be removed? Do they fade? Do they just grow like some of them are?
Yeah, we put that in the game. They changed.
That's true.
They
Crunch
blossom.
Canyon is still pretty messed up.
Crunch Canyon still has the goop in it.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like that might very slowly. I feel like that would slowly recede over time, slowly kind of dissolve every time.
Yeah, I guess I was never 100% sure if the black goop was like definitely 100% like a bad brush thing, or if it was like a legitimate environmental thing that maybe got like transformed a little bit, because I don't know, it's like it's not like anything else in the game, and it's like localized to one area, so yeah, I don't know, yeah, unclear. I would like to imagine some of the areas recover, or it's like a different equilibrium too, which isn't necessarily bad. Like that's kind of what the dark trees blooming sort of represents to me, is that like
They're not gone.
they're not gone. They're still there, but it's like it's like
Changing.
it's like a new different thing that's defined by that history that's also there.
Like, it's good to leave a healthy amount of things to explore, because that's where you get all the big interest in fan fiction. Let's see. We're looking at Boss Pickle here. I am absolutely loving everything about this.
Oh, we should be all. I didn't realize how much time had passed since we started drawing Boss Pickle too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
and I just put a
Wrap it up
in.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess okay.
Let's do like one more question, if there is like a good like last question.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Someone asked a question, and I would like to modify it a little. Did you guys have fun with this question, and what would you think about other streams in the future?
Oh, what do we think about the stream?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's fun. It's nice to get to hang out with everyone. I'm actually surprised at how many people came to hang out. So thank you everyone for coming by.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Yeah.
Questions and stuff.
Like it's been fun to get back in the headspace of this game because like I said, it's just not really been our focus for a while.
Yeah, but yeah, it is really it's very important to us and yeah.
And you guys are cooking up all sorts of new things for people to get excited about.
Like confirm that
This
the
is
brushes are
an amazing
telekinetic.
design.
Also, yeah, Bosticle. But yeah, thank you everyone for coming. I'm not like closing the stream just yet. Just I know we don't want to take up too much of Greg and Alexis's time, but yeah, it was super exciting. Thank you everyone for doing the Chicory challenge and being here and being fans of Chicory and not getting mad at me when I forget to do announcements. But I did announce this one.
The coloring was really cool to see.
So some people were asking, are you going to post the canvas of this anywhere?
Oh, sure. I don't know where, but I guess we'll figure out the best place to post that, and I'll
The Chicory
maybe
Twitter.
I'll like put everything. I think everything's kind of spread out, so maybe I'll kind of squish everything a bit further together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, or you could do it as like a thread. That might make sense.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Or you can do it as a newsletter.
And yes, the stream will be saved. People will be seeing it soon.
Yeah. After I do some editing magic, because I'm sure that there are parts that I don't know. I check audio, things like that, etc.
Sure.
Were we gonna look at the challenge images at all?
Oh yeah, I did want to, but I got sidetracked. Someone else will have to open them though, because I'm streaming this or recording.
Yeah.
This, yeah.
Oh, what are we looking at?
The Chicory challenge.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you want to like. Sorry, I mean Alexis is pretty focused on drawing a boss pickle. But as soon as she finishes that drawing, we can switch. We can look at some of the challenge drawings. I mean, we looked at them. They're cool.
Yeah, it's cool to see everyone make their
yeah,
own
it'd be fun to see
interpretation
on
of it.
stream. Yeah. Okay, so you're just streaming our entire screen for
Wait, maybe I can stop streaming.
And then what are you gonna do?
And then I'm gonna where?
Oh yeah, which channel is it?
It's in
Oh,
the
it's
QA prompts.
like-
It's in a thread.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's up
right
there.
with the QA.
I mean, should I keep streaming the screen and then?
You should stream just the Discord, like stream Discord as an application.
Yeah. No music, but that's okay. We're almost done.
We have to create the music, Robin. Dun, 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 dun.
We are not going to synchronize across the country.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Wait. Where's the? It's the on the top right. There's a thread button. It's like left, up. Yeah, that one.
Ah.
There you go.
Ah. Yeah.
Sweet.
I'm just gonna do this one. No. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we can't do like a click in and scroll.
Yeah, let's try to get them like a little bit bigger, but
It's the biggest they're gonna get.
yeah, not really going. You can't like zoom in on here, can I?
You can click on them, and you can just look at them individually. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, that works.
There you go.
There we are.
There you go.
There we are.
adds a little like shadow out, and then like the line.
Yeah, it makes it feel like almost like a pin or something.
Like it's a
Yeah, or like a
God, what's the word? Enamel. Enamel.
Yeah, enamel. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's very nice. Very soft looking.
Hmm.
I like the bugs.
Yeah, that purple is a wild choice.
I feel like the bugs were very like lovingly thought out.
Hmm.
I didn't even like notice the bugs in the.
Yeah, in the original drawing, I actually didn't.
When I first looked at this one from further away, I was like seeing this as one image, and it kind of looks like a platypus with a hat on.
Oh yeah.
This like shape here,
Yeah.
like the bill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sunglasses are great. I like how the moon turned into chicory.
I like the pink bark on the trees.
This one's my favorite one.
This one?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Whoa. This one's
Oh, the
hardcore.
mushroom's glowing?
Yeah, the mushroom's glowing. That's very nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Hmm? That's fun.
Yeah.
The pizza's I don't know if they like meant for that to be like pizza's arm as like a hot pink item,
I
but
think it might have been interpreted as a flower, but that's cool.
it is cool.
Yeah. Aw.
Whoa. Surprising people made it like a nighttime scene. I guess because there's like
I mean, there are stars.
yeah, stars in the original.
It makes sense. I didn't like.
I didn't think about it. Yeah, because in the black and white original. Yeah, I guess it's such a different vibe. That's a bright ass moon.
It looks very wintry.
Hmm.
So I like mushrooms too.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. I like the icy blue trees.
Me too.
Whoa.
So children's booky.
Really nice. I like the like kind of self-colored lines. They like softened up the lines a bit.
Yeah, it's pretty bold. No one else really messed with the line work that much. You can and they added stuff outside the boundary too, so you can really feel it's like
Very atmospheric.
composition floating in space.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this person too actually.
Hmm.
This is so fun.
Yeah, I like his colors. Something happening outside. I was upset.
These are really like
It's really cool.
unusually understated colors. Like the kind of stuff that I usually do. I like the subtlety.
I really like all the different greens. It
Mhm.
feels really like a natural like palette of greens. Green is a really hard color. Oh, that's so cute.
Whoa!
I love this one too.
Yeah,
Wow! Yeah,
really nice.
that's interesting. Yeah, the choice to like remove some of the lines. It really changes the feeling.
Yeah, making some of the lines self-colored.
You're like Paper Mario feeling almost. Because like so everything has like such a harsh outline and like the soft inner line.
Mm-hmm. Whoa.
Whoa!
So like shiny.
Huh?
It's so interesting how seeing like people's different like lighting choices really changes the whole feeling of the picture.
Mm-hmm.
I love these like shiny plants.
Yeah.
It's like it's been raining.
Yeah, I mean, the piece is also shiny too. Yeah, it's just the whole thing's really like it's cool.
Glowy and
Yeah, magical, bright.
It's so like so moody.
Mm-hmm.
This is really nice lighting. Really nice like shading.
Yeah.
Very
Cool
like
choices.
subtle.
I wonder if Madeline meant for it to be at nighttime or not. I'm like,
Stars.
yeah, they do have stars, but yeah, they may have just been like, I don't know. That's why I'm wondering. It's funny because it.
Yeah, yours.
Whoa!
It's a nice color palette.
The pink moon.
It's really intense.
Yeah, this feels very like zine like the limited color palette.
You talking about like risograph kind of?
Yeah, risograph, I guess is what I mean.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a really nice feeling.
It is different.
It got updated. I think the little like the rim lighting on stuff
Yeah.
added, probably some other things too.
I
But
feel
the rim lighting really,
Yeah, I feel like pizza's standing out a bit more.
yeah,
That's cool. That looks really good.
it does look good. Wow. Yeah, the color choices too.
The like texture on the tree.
Mm-hmm.
That's very cute.
Whoa.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
They changed the moon to like a planet.
Very, yeah.
That's fun.
It feels very MS Paint, which is like it feels very like authentically Chicory to
In a
me.
neat way, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Very appropriate.
yeah.
Like the like watermelon hat.
Ah,
Yeah. Oh, it was a lot of fun.
All right.
Yay.
Yeah, well done, everybody.
Yeah.
They're so cool. They are all so different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that like, with the same prompt, it just comes out completely different.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow. Cool.
cool. What do we say? You're gonna call it?
I mean, I
Can
could.
we close this first? We kind of echo.
Oh, sorry. What's happening? Oh, right.
Close this.
Sorry.
There we go.
okay.
Yeah, it was quiet that whole time.
Thank you so much, Greg and Alexis, for taking like literally so much time. I thought I was just gonna get like 30 minutes or an hour, and then it was like, oh my god, yay! They stayed like the whole time. Thank you so much
Takes a
for
long
taking so much
time.
time to answer questions and do prompts, and thank you everyone for coming. Thank you, Quan and Robin, for being here and also answering asking questions and keeping general fun times.
Yeah,
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you to you.
Yeah, thanks for running it. Thanks,
For
Sharon.
organizing this.
I mean, we felt like we owed it because it's, I don't know, yeah, we put out a lot of stuff in this game, and then it's been out for 3 years, so it felt like, I don't know, yeah, it's nice to get to hang out with everybody and answer some questions and talk about it. Yeah, it's nice to hang out.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
use the stage more often as we please.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess,
Yeah.
besides some technical difficulties at the beginning and everybody listening to our tech check.
Before we just like start the event.
Yeah, that'd be ideal, but yeah.
Yeah,
If you were there at the beginning, you're part of the secret club.
yeah.
With that, yeah, thank you, Greg and Alexis, thank you everyone, and I hope you have a good day or night or evening or afternoon. And I'll message you, Alexis, about like posting the canvas somewhere that people can see it and reference it and probably put it on wikis. And yeah, okay.
I'll see you around.
See you around,
Bye.
everyone. I'm gonna end the stage now. Goodbye.
Okay.
Bye.